Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Riel School Division League of Legends Championships. I'm your host, Logan,
And I'm Braden.
and today we're going to be watching two of the best teams from this league battle it out for the championship. What are your thoughts on today's match, Braden?
Well, today it's Dakota 1, so their first team, and Windsor Park. And they've definitely shown that they're two of the better teams so far.
Yeah.
We think it'll probably be Dakota, correct?
Well, I'm not going to make any assumptions right
Okay.
away. I want to see what we what kind of bans we're having here. We got the Azir ban right away, and the Xayah, two very strong champions for the late game. They're going for the taking away that safe bet of just like trying to flow through the early game and then eventually making it into the late game. Another strong champion, Kaisa band, relatively new. Pretty scary to play against, so I can imagine that being a very, very persistent ban.
Yeah, so two early ADC bans with the Kaisa and the Xayah.
Yeah. And then the Warwick as well. A very tough to deal with jungler. He's very tanky. He can just get in your face. And then the Riven ban looking to almost finish us off
Take away
here.
one of those top lane
Yeah.
carries.
Always.
Something that can just kind of carry the game and run away with it.
So, as far as I know, these two teams have not played against each other. But I'm sure that once we get into this game, we're going to see how good these two teams are. So the first three bans from each team are gone now. So we're going to go into the first three picks. And first pick on Dakota's side is a Swain pick.
Yeah, so the final ban was Skarner, so another tanky jungler.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Swain, that's an
Swain.
interesting pick.
He's
was
a
just recently
shorter
reworked.
range, late game mage. Kind of scary if he gets ahead, so I can see that being a very highly prioritized pick. And we got the Vayne pick on Windsor Park side here, a very scary late game ADC.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick. You don't see it picked in a lot of competitive
No, it's
games.
very risky. It's high risk, high reward sort of deal, and it might pay off for them this time.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to try to do like protect the Vayne comp.
That would be a smart idea if they can pull it off, though. And
Yeah,
the
well,
second
of
pick
course.
here coming through, and it is Yasuo, two very highly skill cap, high risk, high reward champions already seen. Maybe looking to intimidate Dakota a little bit with the picks.
Yeah, maybe. These are two champions that a lot of people are scared to play in solo queue. People
Yeah.
like to play them,
Yeah.
but in terms of actually having a high win percentage.
Yeah, that's why I said they're high skill cap.
Exactly.
Like, if you can pull it off, that's great, but that's only if you could pull it off. And we got the Lucian Rakan combo looking to be picked here for the bot lane for Dakota. Very highly mobile, high damage bot lane. Rakan giving Lucian plenty of protection as well as staying with him too. And then the Alistar locked in for Windsor Park. So they have a very all-in bot lane as well. It's going to be an interesting bot lane for sure. Alistar does counter Rakan a little bit, so I can see that being a tough lane. But if they can get some kills early on, then they could definitely steamroll. And this Sejuani band on Windsor
Yeah, so
Park side.
they ban out another tank jungler. So it looks like they're I guess scared of having a tanky jungler that can kind of run away with this game if they get an early lead.
Yeah,
So they're banning everything out.
they don't really like the tank junglers, and the Graves being banned out here.
Yeah, so he's a little bit more of a high damage jungler.
A lot of
He's not
junglers
as
being banned
tanky.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the fourth time these two teams have played each other, so they've obviously met in the ring a while, in the Summoner's Rift, I should say.
Yeah.
And maybe Dakota's known for their scary tanky junglers, so I'm guessing that's why they're banning
They just
four
banned
of them.
out a fourth one now
Yeah.
with the Zac.
And then the Jarvan going over on Dakota's side.
Yeah, you can even build Jarvan tanky
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
So
A lot of good bans, a lot of interesting bans too. And it looks like the Jax is being hovered here, and that's locked in. That could be jungle or top lane. That's a very good flex pick. And then the Gragas coming out as well.
that's most likely their jungler.
Yeah. Very high ability power damage on the Dakota side.
Yeah.
Only Lucian so far for AD, but I'm sure they'll pick up a nice AD top laner.
Yeah,
Just
if you had
waiting.
to kind of assume what their AD top lane's going to be, who would you?
Darius.
Okay, well,
Well, I
I
was
think
going to say Kled or Darius, but yeah, those are
I
two
think you
both.
might have
So
seen it.
it looks like they actually just had the flex pick jacks for jungle, but this might be the Kane jungle coming out. Oh, never mind. We could
Hovering
see
the
a
Kane
Renekton.
and maybe picking
Yep.
Renekton instead.
Could see a Renekton top here. Okay.
Okay.
So it looks like both teams have picked their full rosters. What are your first thoughts here when you look at these guys?
Well, in previous games that we've casted, the Jax jungle has been interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if that's my favorite pick.
Yeah.
It's a little bit off the norm, I guess.
I'm gonna have to give my edge to Windsor Park. They have a strong early game and late game comp, while as Dakota just kind of has a strong late game. They've got Darius, which is good early game, but other than that, not a lot.
Yeah, Dakota's going to look to play a very kind of straightforward game. Just
Try and survive.
Exactly.
Until late.
Just keep yourself going until you get
Yeah.
to the late game, and you kind of hit those later power spikes and really kind of try to
Yeah.
run away with it.
It's going to be an interesting game. Very aggro team on Windsor Park.
Yeah.
Everyone has a form of mobility and a way to get in there. So yeah, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think this is going to be this could be pretty difficult for Lucian early in the game. There's a lot of ways for him to easily kind of get picked off.
Yeah.
With the Alistair headbutt, the Vayne cloak.
I want to talk about Dakota's summoner spells here. So they opted for a double exhaust and no ignite comp. So that means they have no teleport pressure for global ganks.
Yeah,
but
there's
that
only
also
one
gives,
teleport.
But that also gives Darius the 1v1 advantage against Renekton, which
That's
is
true.
kind of a skill matchup when you're looking at it. Renekton is very strong early on, but Darius can play it right that he can win that matchup. And the exhaust obviously gives him a big boost in that.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Darius is almost playing to either keep himself close to the Renekton in lane or even win that lane.
Yeah.
But
Darius does eventually outskill Renekton.
Exactly.
But yeah, if Renekton can get an up on him, it's going to be tough for him.
Well, the interesting part for me is that even though Darius outscales Renekton, he's going to be slightly less useful later in the game, just based on that lack of teleport.
And the fact that their team comp is so slippery.
Yeah,
it's very hard for Darius to get close to them. Yeah, and also, speaking of summer spells, Windsor Parkside opting for no exhaust. They go for the ignite on the Alistair, perhaps going for an early cheese kill.
Yeah, I think they're just going to try to really push this Vayne and get it ahead as soon as possible.
I definitely like their draft, though. It's a very scary team comp. They got rid of all the tank junglers that they'd have to worry about jumping in on them early on, or even later when they just can't kill them.
Yeah,
but they did still pick up the Gragas, and we'll see what they can do with that, because that can be scary if the Gragas knows what he's doing.
Yeah, they basically got rid of all of the tanks that they don't want to have to worry about.
Most of them are gone,
That are more, they normally build as AD tank. Like they have a Swain who normally builds AP.
Yeah.
And the Darius, he builds some AD tank, but
both teams I've noticed lack a lot of range, which isn't a bad thing.
Well, it's going to make this matchup interesting.
Yeah, it's going to make it a very chaotic matchup. But there's going to be a lot of close quarters fighting going on. Yeah. So we just showed you the players. They're 2 minutes ahead of us just because we got a spectator delay, but we'll get right into the Rift real soon and show the matchup.
Yeah, so they're already going and they're underway, just getting this game started. So we're going to show you the very beginning coming up right about now.
Yeah, about to head into the loading screen here as the game.
Oh, it looks like there's a pause.
Well, they paused the game until we can get into the game, I'm assuming.
Huh.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to set this up. It's awesome.
Yeah, you know, it worked out. And we're back on the camera. Yes.
Awesome. So, talking about this matchup again, I'm not sure which bot lane do you think is going to be better. That's what I was going to ask.
Well, I think
that's the big question here, because we've got the two hyper carries in the bot lane.
Yeah, I think if the Vayne can keep herself alive early, she's going to have a bit of an advantage. She just scales harder than Lucian does.
I should say that there are a lot of hyper carries in this game. But
yeah, exactly. Like, the amount of hyper carries is pretty scary.
Anyone getting a lead at this point is going to be a scary thing.
Both teams are pretty much just fearing giving away too many kills to one target early on.
That's really all they got to worry about at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just don't want one team to snowball. And both of these teams they're in the final game, so obviously they're good enough to kind of realize that.
Yeah, we're sure to see somebody gets a lead. League of Legends here. And the Summoner's Rift has been opened, and as both teams make their way to their starting positions, looks like Windsor Park's going to go for a little cheese strat where they group up as 5 members, and looks like Dakota's just kind of sitting around at this point.
Yeah, I think they were looking to cheese the Gragas early, but he actually went his
They might just get some early vision here, or just try and pick someone off here walking through the jungle. Darius is kind of on his own here.
Yeah, he's looking to get the early lead with the Gromp on his side, but
yeah,
it doesn't look like they're going to catch him. Well, they're heading his way now.
It's a scary matchup here as Darius does notice them. Running away.
Yep.
Good for him.
Looks like they're going to... no. They opt against sticking around for the blue buff.
Looks like Dakota's going to actually invade themselves, trying to see if they can get some wards on this blue, maybe.
It looks like they opted against trying to cheese early on.
There is actually a ward here from the Renekton in the tri-bush, maybe going to go for an early gank onto Darius. It looks like some action is going to happen over here as well. Windsor Park's still going for the early game scariness. Grouping up.
Windsor Park is taking their own blue buff, and it looks like Darius is going to go take the red. Oh, he's going to ward it. Yeah, okay, he's going to ward it. Yeah, that's smart.
And early game.
We got a
pause in here. There's some lag issues, it seems. And we'll get that sorted out right away.
Okay, so...
Alright, and while the game is paused, let's talk more about these matchups. We talked a bit about the bot lane.
Yep.
Now let's talk about the mid lane, Swain versus Yasuo. In my eyes, I see Swain trying to play safe against this Yasuo.
Yeah, Swain needs a couple of items to get himself kind of in a position where he can take that fight.
And we're back here. Short delay there. I'm sure it's all sorted out by now. And this game is slightly underway, and not a whole lot happening. Obviously, the early game is going to be very scary for both these teams. They don't want to give up anything. Dakota having the less strong early game comp.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to play even safer. There's a minor gold lead going over to Windsor Park right away, but I'm sure it's not going to be matter that much.
Yeah, it looks like the Yasuo and Swain are already putting some damage down on each other, both at just over probably 60%.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of poke going on there.
And yeah, we're probably not going to see much action until some jungle pressure happens.
Yeah,
maybe some early game ganks, as it looks like Renekton is actually trying to snag that Scuttle Crab. He did get it away from the Gragas there. That's really good. They get some early vision in the river. Jack's taking some good damage there. From
they also know where the Gragas is now. They know they're on the top side.
They know Gragas is top side. That bot side is fine to push up as much as they want.
Yeah, I don't think Gragas saw the Jax taking the Raptor camp either, so he is unaware at this point.
Yeah, and bot lane for Windsor Park pushing up a lot. Rakan only being level 1. That's a very bad thing for Dakota at this point. They can't make any early plays. They're going to lose a lot of gold here, getting pressured under tower.
Yeah, that's a big wave to lose early, unfortunately.
It looks like Lucian's getting most of them, but it's still tough for him to try and farm under tower.
Well, it's just a scary place to be.
Yeah, and Alistar is just going to make it even more scary.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the keystones a bit here. So we're seeing some interesting keystones. most of most of Windsor Park sides are on the precision tree. We've got Fleet Footwork on Vayne, giving her some extra sustain. We've got Press the Attack on Jax and Renekton, giving them some extra damage.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they're looking for more of the kind of sustained, longer fighting versus just straight burst damage.
Exactly.
Which is runes like what Gragas has with the Electrocute, and
Gragas,
same as the Swain.
Oh, and we have First Blood actually going over to Darius in the top lane.
Just like we were talking about, the Darius got that early kill, and he'll be looking to snowball it away now.
Yeah, he pushes in so that Renekton loses all that farm, and Renekton has TP though. And I'm sure that Darius did actually use both his flash and teleport, so both of his summoners are down now.
Yeah, so this is likely a time when Darius comes back that Renekton is going to want to play a little bit more aggressive.
He can try at least.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, he'd like to get the kill back as much as he can, but with both summoners down on the Darius, that would be the time to do it.
And this is an interesting matchup mid because Yasuo, he likes playing against mages, but Swain can be very scary for him because Swain does more damage the closer he is.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, Yasuo has his handy wind wall to block some of those damaging abilities.
Yeah, it's normally you would say that a melee champion into Swain is not the best call matchup-wise, but Yasuo at least has one tool to keep it a little bit more safe for him.
And yet, Yasuo losing a bit of that trade there. He does have level 6 though. Level 6 just on Darius and Yasuo at this point.
Yep, one ult on each team at this point.
And we've got still a gold lead on Windsor Park side. Gragas is going for the flash E into the Yasuo here. Swain does ult. Yasuo looking to kill the Gragas. Can he get a second one here? It looks like Swain has his ult ready to go for the... Oh, and the flash coming out. Barrier being popped as well. And Yasuo goes with the 2v1 double kill.
That's a big play for Yasuo.
That is a big play, and he flashes the mastery there for some
for that extra little bit of cheese. But yeah, that's the one thing that teams didn't want to happen early, is one of the quote-unquote hyper carries to get a couple early kills. And he's going to be in a really good spot now.
And Windsor Park already had a gold lead, so that just skyrocketed them and even further to almost actually exactly 1,000k gold lead.
Yeah, 1k gold lead right now.
And we said this game would be chaotic, and it is already chaotic. Only 6.5 minutes in the game, already 3 kills going down. 1 on Windsor Park, or sorry, 2 on Windsor Park and 1 on Dakota.
Yeah, it looks like Jax is taking that topside scuttle crab again. He's
yeah, they want that vision control. It's very important.
Well, it's a good play. At this point,
Gragas,
they want as much topside vision as they can.
Yeah. Gragas and Rakan, both the lowest levels in the game right now, and that's not very good for a jungler. Jungle, right now in League of Legends, is a very important role. You need to farm a lot in order to gain levels, and if you stop farming or get behind early on, it's very hard to come back.
Yeah, so not a lot happening right now. Both teams are just content to kind of...
They all backed a bit, and they're just resetting the waves and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
If we look at the scoreboard here, we do have the Zeal and the 2 daggers purchased on I should say Yasuo, and now Yasuo is just gone. Gragas going for the gank again, and Jax is in a bad position here as Darius roamed down.
Jax was going to try to kind of counter jungle, but he didn't have enough health to actually...
And this is Darius.
That worthwhile.
This is Darius. No, that's Darius's second back, I should say. I was about to say that if that's his first back, that's very scary. He would have a lot of gold. Yeah, that's what I was just doing. We've got some purchases. Swain almost finishing his Rod of the Ages here. That once he gets that, he's going to be set for late game.
Yeah, there's now a
a big fight going on bot lane.
4-man pile-up down bot.
Darius is just tearing through the Windsor Park line as his passive actually picks up a double kill there. Lucian actually stealing one of those kills away. He still gets the double kill because he got Alistar as well.
Yeah.
And that's a big play for Dakota at this point. Dakota needing all the gold they can get at this point, and also having 3 kills up on their opposing team is not not too shabby.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how we expected Dakota to play a little bit more slow and defensively to kind of make this game go a little bit longer, let themselves scale. Well, it hasn't worked so far. They're starting to kind of fall behind.
Yeah. But they do have the Vayne and the Yasuo to fall back on for late game.
This
and
is true.
Jax is only going to get stronger as well. So it's going to be an interesting match. I expected Windsor Park to do well early on, just based on the fact that their team comp, well, at least if Darius got ahead, I should have said. If Darius got ahead, they would have had a lot more potential for early game pressure. And Darius, even without the teleport, he's still making some roaming plays as well. We're currently 5 kills for Dakota and 2 kills for Windsor Park. 3 of those kills on Darius, though. That's scary. And 1 obviously on the Lucian and on the Gragas as well. Gragas got a kill on the Yasuo gank earlier on. And 1 death across the board for every member on Windsor Park. Darius trading a bit on with Yasuo. And a kill going over bot lane. Or jungle, I should say. The jungle, the Swain found Jax trying to invade, and he took care of him. And it looks like that's another kill.
There's been some interesting placements for Jax in this game. He's always either kind of slightly ahead of where he needs to be or slightly behind. Getting caught in the jungle by Swain, trying to counter gank, and kind of just being a little bit out of position.
Looks like a fight's about to break out top here. That's Gragas and Swain. Beautiful play to CC him down there, but Renekton's going to fight back. Swain burns his ult here. He's definitely going to try and get this kill, and that's a kill, another kill going over to Swain. Why don't we take another look at that one, because that was a nice play by the Windsor Park side, or Dakota, I should say. And yeah, they catch him out with the body slam and Swain's E as well. And it's just a good lockdown. So far, bot lane has not seen a whole lot of action. Lucian obviously got 1 kill early on, and both members of Windsor Park have also been slain.
Yeah, interesting decision by Renekton up top. He teleports back in and jumps right back on the Swain.
Yeah.
He knew Gragas was low health, but Gragas...
Swain actually picking up another kill onto Renekton. It looks like he's also going to get one on Jax there. That's a very scary Swain now. Both Swain and Darius being very scary opponents. Noxus Pride. They've got the 4-1 Swain and the 3-0 Darius. Darius also hovering around bot lane, looking to make a play as well.
Yeah, it looks like this top side is going pretty rough for Windsor Park right now. They're in a...
They might actually take this topside turret real soon.
Yeah, the topside turret's at about 25%, maybe about 30%.
So just a reminder for people at home, Dakota is the blue side team and Windsor Park is the red side. Just in case people didn't realize.
Yeah, so right now Dakota is up about 2k in gold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2k in a bit. Dakota obviously coming out here, a strong competitor, big school. They've got a lot of players, a lot of people willing to prove themselves, and obviously they've weaved quite a few good players into this team. And Windsor Park, you know, showing up here with the very confident team comp.
Yeah, they had a good start getting the 2 early kills on Yasuo, but they haven't been able to kind of keep that early lead they have, and they're starting to fall behind.
Fight going on to Darius here, and it looks like he's actually going to be taken out. Shutdown gold going over to Yasuo there, and that's a 3-0 or 3-1 Yasuo, so that's another scary
yeah. Well, it's
player
good
to look out for.
It's good for Yasuo to get that extra gold for the shutdown.
Yeah.
It's
he's
just
also got
put
the
him in a
Phantom
better
Dancer
spot.
finish too, so he's going to get a little bit more 1v1 potential there with.
Okay, let's take another look at that kill on the Yasuo.
So yeah, Yasuo catching him out with a nice nice tornado there. He does get exhausted, but it doesn't actually matter when Yasuo and Jax are on top of Darius. He's not going to be able to do too much.
Yeah, there's not a lot he could have done there.
And that's a lot of shutdown gold going over to Yasuo as well.
Yeah, one good thing for Darius there is he kept his flash, so he still has that available for if he wants to make any plays.
And Windsor Park looking to make a dragon play here, but Dakota has actually intercepted that dragon, and they're looking to take it instead. And this is the first dragon of the game, Ocean Dragon. It's going to give everyone a little bit, everyone on the team that gets it, a little bit of health regen and mana regen. So it's very good for early on. 15 minutes in the game, that's not bad time to get it. I would have said probably prioritize it earlier on just to see what the next one would be, and also getting this would be just very good for laning. But laning is still kind of going on because there's only one turret down. I should mention that Dakota did get the first blood turret. That's 500 gold going over to whoever took it top lane.
And the next dragon will be another Ocean.
Yeah. So a lot of sustain. A lot of sustain coming out for the dragons. That's going to be very scary for late game team fights. You're going to be able to trade really effectively and then back off, regen your health, and then go back in. And Yasuo actually 1v1s the Darius, but he does get taken out by the turret there and the passive on Darius. So a nice 1-for-1 there. Not too good for Windsor Park because they still lose gold, and Dakota is obviously ahead.
Yeah, it turns out to be probably a better 1-for-1 for Darius, even because he gets the trade back.
Yep.
And his team is already ahead.
Darius just stacking armor at this point because Windsor Park does have a very attack damage heavy team.
Yeah, he finished his Black Cleaver early on, so that's going to give him a little bit of armor shred, and now he's building full tank.
We do actually have a new item here being built by Vayne. And it's known as Storm Razor. It's a fairly new item in League of Legends. It gives you a guaranteed crit after a while of just charging it up, walking around. It's very interesting. It's a very good ADC item. And I never would have assumed Vayne to pick it up, but maybe it'll pay off here.
Yeah, an interesting choice for Vayne. Normally they build full crit, but they want it to where they crit on almost every attack. So instead of kind of almost saving up time to then get an assured crit, just build up the percentage instead.
Is just racking up the kills at this point. He does another 1v1 against Swain and gets the kill without too much trouble.
Yeah, that's a rough matchup for Swain now. 5-2 Yasuo with a Phantom Dancer and a BF sword.
We should also look at farm. Greg Assault being burnt there. We should look at farm here as Vayne actually has a ton of CS up on Lucian, but another fight breaking out here. Darius does get the reset, so he's going to have his passive on every auto here. He's looking to just 1v2 at this point with a little help from Gragas.
Ooh, and nice flash by Renekton to get himself out, but
trying to make their way up, but
Renekton
like does get it
fall
with the ult, the passive, I should say.
Yeah, the Darius passive took him down there.
Looks like there's going to be another short skirmish here. As Rakan and Gragas look to make their way down, but I think they're spotted by a ward.
Yes,
Rakan is taking it out.
Yep, using his sweeper to take that ward out and placing his own in the tri-brush in the bottom lane.
Yep. 12 kills here on Dakota's side. Most of them on Darius, he's 6-2, and then Swain being 4-2. Lucian and Gragas picking up 1 kill as well.
Yeah, Vayne takes the bottom side scuttle, so they're going to have a little bit more vision of the river and dragon pit.
Yep.
Just setting themselves up for the next dragon.
And Vayne just racking up the CS here, almost close to 200 CS. And that's a very scary opponent. You do not want to see that Vayne have a big lead on the enemy ADC, and another solo kill going over to Yasuo. Yasuo actually only has the all of the kills on his team, believe it or not. He takes out the turret here, gets another bit of gold, looking to maybe just escape here with his life. Gragas keeps chasing a bit, not finding much.
They're going to back off.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a,
Darius.
A scary Yasuo at this point. He is a double BF sword now. Interesting build.
Darius roaming around, not really having the TP, but he's still making use out of... Oh, and that's a nice condemn by the Vayne there. keeping him back. This fight is it's not really going to look like it's going to turn into much. Rakan using the ult here, getting some nice charms down, as they might actually take out the the Alistar. Darius does not get the reset though, and because
Vayne gets locked down as well.
Vayne gets hooked in back though. So
yeah, that's it looks like Jax is playing a little bit risky, not running straight away from the enemy team. He's checking the wolf camp right now, and he's safe.
And that was a very good fight for Dakota, because now they can get this turret down. That opens both the side lanes up. Good to have this controlled bot lanes, and then you can get more dragons. But Yasuo is just pushing down mid non-stop, so that is something that is scary.
They tie the turret count up. It's now 2-2.
Yep.
The Windsor Park has taken outer top turret and outer mid turret of Dakota, and Dakota's taken both outer lanes. We have Dragon, the Ocean Drake, spawning in 51 seconds.
They're going to want to prioritize that pretty soon.
Yeah, and Baron spawns right now as well.
Both teams. We actually have the Banner of Command picked up by Rakan here. That's a very scary item. It's very good for pushing lanes when you're not there, because you can give a minion a bit more health and damage.
Yep. Baron and Banner empowered minions.
Yeah, it's a very scary situation.
It hasn't happened yet, as they haven't.
No,
as Baron is live.
But it looks like Swain is actually gonna get demolished by Yasuo there, as Yasuo tears him apart. Yasuo being the really only saving grace for Windsor Park at this point, and he's proving himself to be a very scary player to play against. But he does get locked down when he's trying to 1v4, unfortunately.
Yeah, everybody's kind of. Both teams are teaming up around Baron Pit, and Vayne has the split push going down
Vayne
bottom.
is going to get some nice solo gold there.
She's actually going to take this bottom side turret.
Yep. Vayne probably having so much gold at this point, with 215 CS, also getting a solo gold turret. I wouldn't imagine that she doesn't have enough gold for Phantom Dancer or something like that at this point.
Yeah, she's going to back right now. It looks like she's going to go pick up...
Or maybe a Shiv. Oh, Rapid Fire Cannon, even better.
Yeah, Rapid Fire Cannon, interesting. Give her that little bit of extra attack speed. As Gragas takes the blue buff, and it looks like Renekton's going to back, so he's going to go
So looking at this game now, I'm going to say that it's going to be a tough call. Like, Windsor Park has the upside in the late game, because they've got the very farmed up Vayne and also the fed Yasuo, but they're gonna have to really play smart here if they want to try and use the Yasuo and Vayne effectively. They do have the Alistar for peel, but that's about it. So if Vayne or Yasuo are jumped on, it's gonna be very hard for them to be protected by their team, if not just their own talent.
Well, the other interesting part is for Dakota, their priority targets
Dragon is
are actually their tanks.
Yeah.
So, like, the people that you'd be looking to kind of burn down as fast as possible is the Darius and the Swain, who both like to build more defensive.
Yeah, it's hard for you to burn them both down because they are a bit more bulky.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks like Alistar getting caught out here. A first kill going over to Darius, that's really good. He gets his resets. And a TP coming from Renekton. He cancels it. That's a good idea, because that was...
yeah, he was about to teleport into the entire Dakota team.
But he is split pushing bot at this point. Darius looking to go try and catch him out, but we are seeing some more fighting going on between both these teams. Renekton unaware that Darius is coming from, but he might just back off here. It might run into him as well.
The third Drake is going to be a Mountain Drake, so that gives you a little bit more... pushing power on the turrets and other objectives. Both teams will likely be looking to take that fairly soon.
And they get the kill on the Yasuo, that's big. That's the only defense they really have at this point. Jace going for an Jax going for an interesting play, as Darius is also fighting Renekton in the jungle.
In this game.
I think Darius might pick up this kill with his passive there.
It's going to be close. Yeah, he got it.
He got it, and it looks like... Oh, Swain actually falling to the Vayne. That's very good for Vayne. But they do actually pick up the inhibitor turret mid lane, and they might actually pick up the inhibitor as well, and that's very bad for Windsor Park, as they will have super minions running down the mid lane now.
They're definitely going to get this inhibitor, as both Vayne and Jax were low health and had to go back.
And top lane is also pushing in fairly lots.
Yeah, there's a big wave up top.
There's a big wave up there.
And
a lot
Darius
of
will be
minions.
pushing bottom.
Yeah.
So
Very scary situation for Windsor Park. They aren't out of it yet, but it's going to be very hard for them to try and come back at this point. They're going to need Yasuo to just kind of put everyone on his back at this point.
yeah, the Windsor Park team, they built fairly offensive with the Renekton building Black Cleaver, Tiamat.
I'm going to say that the offensive, as soon as he lost the first kill, he should have went just tanky. Because as soon as you start building some attack damage, and while you're behind, you just become a walking pile of gold.
Yeah, it's harder to come back trying to play offensive than it is to just build an extra tank for your team.
Yeah. And we are seeing some minor skirmishes over at the Baron Pit. Nothing too serious though. Renekton looks to pick up bot lane CS.
Looks like they were just trying to get some vision in. Both teams want to have that vision of Baron
Vision
Pit.
control is very important. It's one of the main things of the game. You need to know where people are before you do things, because you could get surprised.
Yeah, that's one thing that Windsor Park doesn't need right now. They don't need to be surprised.
No.
They want to keep the game as safe as possible and give themselves as much chance to come back.
Super minions starting to head down mid lane now, as Dakota looks to just make a nice push here. Maybe try and get some more inhibitor.
Yeah,
turrets.
both teams are going to group up mid. This is going to turn into a big team fight right now.
Very scary situation for both teams. This could go wrong for...
Looks like Dakota's actually going to peel off. They might be going towards Baron.
That's probably the safer bet would be to bait it, to make it seem like they're doing it, and just make Windsor Park run into them. And it looks like they're pulling that off right now. Yeah,
they're essentially trying to bait a team fight. They're trying to... They know they're ahead, so they're trying to kind of
push. They just want them to fight,
Exactly. They want to push as many fights as possible. It looks like they're going to group up in this
this bush is not warded.
Nope.
Both teams... Windsor Park does not know they're in there, and they both show up, and a big fight erupting as Recon running through. Alistar trying to do his best to peel for his team as the first kill goes over to Swain, killing Jax. Renekton soon to follow as Swain gets a double kill, a triple kill to Swain as well.
Triple kill to Swain, and Vayne is very low health, but she's going to get away, and Yasuo's going to have to
And they're going to pick up this Baron now, because there's nothing that Windsor Park can do to stop them. They lost... more than half their team. Two of the strongest members surviving, but there's not much they can do in a 2v5 situation.
yeah. The outplay would have to be ridiculous for them to have any shot.
To steal the Baron, but that's hard to do without Smite.
Yeah, they have to just let this Baron go, which they're doing, obviously.
It's very unfortunate because it's hard for them to deal with a Baron-enhanced super minion wave middle lane. But
yeah, Rakan bought the banner as well, so they will have Baron-empowered minions. Baron banner-empowered, I should say.
Yep. Jax.
Looks like Jax is
almost running into a very bad trap there.
Well, he just ran through a ward, so they still know where he is. But he's going to play smart and go back to base.
Renekton was split pushing. Swain looking to pick up that wave. As they wait for the Baron minions to start flowing in.
Looks like both teams are grouping up topside, just the Swain in bot lane right now, not with his team.
So Windsor Park wants to fight this. Maybe just trying to push them off the turret.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to keep their base as much intact as possible.
Not a lot to take up right now. The next dragon is spawning soon, and it is Infernal, which is very scary. If Dakota gets it, it gives them a lot more damage.
It's actually a Mountain Drake.
Is it?
Yes.
Alright. And
so it looks like Dakota's
yeah, they're looking to make their final push right now.
Yeah, they're probably going to try to take this bottom side.
That's really the only thing
inner
in the
turret,
way. Yeah.
inhibitor turret, and then start
hack away at the Nexus.
Exactly.
They do look to pick up this Mountain Drake, which will help their pushing a little bit. Mountain Drake does actually give a lot more true damage to objectives such as dragons, barons, and turrets. Yep.
Yeah, this So they're just giving themselves even more chance to just break the base as fast as possible.
And the score,
they're not going to group bottom side.
The score is mighty grim for Windsor Park, 22-8. 7 of those 8 kills on Yasuo, the other one on Vayne.
Yeah, so 22-8 kills. Gold lead is about pretty close to 10K.
Yeah, and it looks like there's going to be one final fight here. It won't be the final one if Windsor Park wins it, but if Dakota does, they will probably end the game here.
Yeah, so they have a banner empowered minion right now.
Yeah, Windsor Park just scared to do anything right now because they can't.
Yeah, they're essentially trying to look and kind of pick off one target, but Dakota's doing a good job of sticking together.
It's hard for them to do that when there's a Baron minions
hacking
away at,
it's like it's a choice of either this player's kind of out of position, do we pick them off or do we defend our base? And
two inhibitors going down. The banner minion actually doing so much damage to that turret as this final fight looks to break.
Yeah, one inhibitor turret's about to go down as well. Or sorry, Nexus turret's about to go down as well.
All of Windsor Park are below half health except for Vayne. First kill going over to Gragas here, and Darius and the other members of the team finish the last kill. Darius goes for the turret dive. He does actually die to the Nexus turret. But that is game 1 for Dakota.
Dakota will hack away at the Nexus and this game is over.
This game is over. A lot of emotes there at the end there.
GG's from both teams.
Yeah, great games by both teams there. Dakota did get the early on Darius kills, which helped them out quite a bit.
Yeah, they got the early Darius and Swain kills.
Yeah, Swain. If he didn't pick up any kills there, he would have been pretty hard to effectively show his power. But Darius really, I'm going to give him the MVP for this one. Even without teleport, he was still pressuring the entire map with his exhaust. And
yes, Yasuo was the one player on Windsor Park team that kind of had a chance to keep that game going. But
and it's hard for him to try and 1v5.
Yeah, well, he's a champion where if you get locked down, there's not a lot you can do. All Dakota had to do was just blow him up, and then it's game over.
Yeah, and I gave the edge to Windsor Park going into this because I thought they would have the skill to keep up with their team comp, but it's just a lot of things falling apart. Obviously, the top laner couldn't match up against Darius.
Well, it looks like they're one of 2 high skill champions, being Yasuo. He played well. It's just his team didn't play well enough around him to kind of complement and allow him to kind of take over.
In the future, for this team comp, I would have said maybe draft another tank top lane just to keep the Yasuo and the Vayne alive. You don't need more damage. You just need something beefy in front of people to keep the game going. That ended a bit quick there.
Yeah, that was a fast first game for Dakota. They're taking a 1-0 lead in the series right now. So, talking about Windsor Park, what do you think they can do to give themselves a better chance to win in the next game? Besides, obviously, drafting one more tank instead.
Drafting went kind of quick for both teams. They sort of knew what they wanted to play. I think that Windsor Park just needs to slow down. They need to just play a nice even-paced game. That's what their team comp was based for. Yeah. They wanted to get through the early game and then make it to late game, but a lot of kills going over early on. Maybe trying to... I obviously said earlier that they needed a tank top lane. That's a big thing. Yeah. I think maybe getting a safer... maybe more mobile AD, support so that it doesn't get picked off as much, because Alistar wasn't much of use when he was getting pulled into the entire team and not being able to knock them up.
Yeah, before he could kind of do anything, he was getting kind of focused down by Dakota. So would you think it'd be fair to say that they maybe will draft a little bit more safe in this game, not picking high skill champs, Yasuo, Vayne, maybe picking more dependable carries per se?
I like that word. I think that they will definitely take this loss as a setback. They will think that, okay, now we gotta step back here. We gotta play safer. We gotta make sure that they don't get any early kills on this, because that was the main thing. Is the early kills were a big thing.
Yeah, I think they just need to play a little bit more slow. Not necessarily going for the kind of outskill plays where Yasuo is diving under turrets and and Vane's trying to roll in and
Dakota
condemn
did
people.
do well, though. I will give them props.
For sure.
Windsor Park pretty much. The Darius ban immediately coming out for Windsor Park. Windsor Park being on the other side now.
Yeah,
they will be blue side, and then Dakota is red side now.
Yep.
And
yeah, that's a smart ban by the Darius.
Both carries being banned there from last game. That's funny.
Yeah, that's a pretty smart ban there. Yasuo, he played pretty well, and just because in the first game one team gets ahead doesn't mean the Yasuo can't carry this next one, and that's just not something to deal with.
Rakan ban going over there from Windsor Park as well.
That's an interesting ban for me. I don't think Rakan.
He didn't really affect the game as much as I thought he would, but he was still annoying to deal with. He's very safe, very mobile. Heals his ADC, also shielding, also engaging. He can do pretty much everything.
Yeah. I wonder if this game they're going to be. Windsor Park is going to focus a little bit more on maybe snowballing their bottom lane, and maybe that's why they're taking away Rakan.
Maybe maybe starting to ban some of those bot lane characters, and the Shen ban actually going. An interesting one.
So one thing we haven't seen yet is any jungle bans.
No, a lot of jungle bans last time, but I think they realized that they don't need to ban all those jungle champions when the laners are going to be the ones carrying at this point.
Yeah.
They look to ban Kaisa as well, a very scary opponent, and the first pick Swain. Happening on Windsor Park side now.
Wow, they're going to counter pick.
They stole it from them, but the Vladimir is being hovered here. That's a very scary opponent too. Similar to Swain, he's a low-range mage, but he does a lot of damage in team fights, and he's fairly tanky as well.
Well, he's another champion that you really don't... Oh, Talon gets locked in instead.
It's actually Talon instead, and that's a very high risk, high reward assassin. You want to try and get kills early on, and then you can snowball the game. And Varus being another safe ADC for Dakota.
The one thing that Varus doesn't have is a mobility. So he's
longer range, though.
He is longer range. If you can kind of get in close with him and kind of almost lock him down, you have a pretty good chance to get some easy quote-unquote kills. So this does kind of play into the idea that maybe Windsor Park wants to play around that bottom lane a little bit more than they did last game.
Windsor Park actually picking up Sivir for bot lane, and also Graves being hovered here.
Yeah, an interesting pick on Sivir. She's not necessarily one of the highest priority champions as an ADC.
I would say a very good pick against Varus, because you can block the spells that he can throw out. Varus's ult is somewhat predictable to block, because you can see him casting it before it hits you. If you could pull that off, the Varus obviously becomes a very little threat to your team.
Yeah, it looks like the Graves gets locked in the jungle for Windsor Park.
And that's a very, very high damage team so far in Windsor Park. They're going with their high damage comp again. And Lulu being picked for the support. And Lulu Varus is a very scary team, because Lulu provides Varus with all the peel he needs, while Varus can just freely do his damage.
Yeah, it gives Varus the option to play a little bit more offensive, because he knows he has that Lulu there to kind of, where he's weak, kind of pick him up almost.
Exactly. And Alistar being banned for Dakota's side here. They didn't want to see that again. It would probably be pretty hard for their bot lane at this point. Lulu, not too much she can do against Alistar.
Yeah, Alistar's a little bit more
pulverizing. A Warwick ban.
A little bit more aggressive support, and it's not
he
something
can
that
be
Lulu
aggressive.
and Varus.
He can be defensive. It's a safe ban, because you're not sure what the potential is for that character without Darius on your team.
Yeah, so right now Windsor Park is looking to pick up a top lane and a support.
Morgana getting banned away. Yeah.
Dakota's looking to pick up a jungle and a top lane. So it's going to be some interesting picks. Right now they're doing bans, of course. Morgana.
That's a good ban. I don't like playing against Morgana myself. Her Black Shield pretty much nullifies every support CC, so it's hard for any sort of support to try and get a catch on.
And a Kayn ban.
The Kayn ban is an interesting one. Sejuani being picked here. Maybe they should have banned that instead, because that's a scary
Kayn is an interesting ban. Last game they were clearly very worried about tank jungles, banning out Zac, Sejuani,
Warwick.
Warwick is banned again in this game by Windsor Park once again. But the Kayn ban is interesting.
Right, Tarek, we haven't seen him yet.
Tarek support,
very scary support. He's never mind, Soraka. That's a very safe bot lane for Windsor Park side.
Yeah, Soraka with that long-range poke.
She's got some long-range poke, and she's basically a heal bot for Sivir. And Ornn being hovered here. I love Ornn.
Yep.
Ornn, you can't go wrong. He's great tank, great engaging. He's got good laning phase too.
Yes, very very strong top laner. One
We'll
thing
see
that
what they pick against him here.
Windsor Park doesn't have any. They have Ornn, who's
They have an Ornn
technically a
frontline.
tank, but
Swain is kind of a frontline. He's not a tank, though.
yeah, exactly.
So he's not going to be effective to just block damage. He's going to be more to do damage to the frontline. And Tryndamere being locked in for Dakota.
Tryndamere as the quote-unquote counter pick to the Ornn.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. If
interesting.
Tryndamere can't do much to Ornn, I don't see him early on. Well, he doesn't need to do anything early on, I should say.
Yeah,
he could
he's just looking to kind of sustain,
just farm,
keep himself going.
Yeah, and just push the lane. And Ornn can't do too much to him early on, but if he can outscale him, obviously it's going to be a different story. Both teams actually have pretty similar team comps here, aside from the mid lane. That's the only real mid lane and jungle.
Yeah.
But it's swapped a bit because jungle for Windsor Park has the carry, and then top lane for Dakota has the carry, while as jungle for Dakota has the tank, and top lane for Windsor Park has the tank. So they have similar team comps. It's just the mid lane they've got the mage and the assassin is the only difference.
Yeah, the one really kind of obvious difference is the mid lane matchup with Talon, who's a lot more kind of aggressive, high damage, whereas Swain is, like you said, builds a little more. Not necessarily tanky, but
he'll get a bunch of health, but that's pretty much it. Health and damage.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be close, but he can't die, so he wants a bit of the health. Yeah. Talon is also a roaming assassin, I should say, so he's going to be looking to make plays across the map too.
Yeah, he's going to look to push in his lane and then roam as much as possible.
Swain actually on Windsor Park this side, instead of going for barrier, went for the ghost. A very good combat ability. You can keep up with some opponents that are outspeeding you, especially Talon with his high mobility.
Yeah, he's looking to get in close, and he's going to use that ghost to play maybe a little bit
aggressive
more aggressive on the.
It could be either or. And Tryndamere also, instead of going for exhaust this time on the Darius, he goes for the teleport, a bit safer because Tryndamere is more vulnerable early on, and he could look to get picked off early on, and that could be scary for Tryndamere.
Yeah, he's once he hits level 6 is where he has a little bit more. He's a little bit more safe, but it's only still for a short amount of time with his kind of undying ability being his ult.
And again, Dakota going for the full AD team comp.
Yeah.
Not a lot of magic on that team. Sejuani does a bit, Lulu does a bit, Varus even does a bit, but not a primary ability-powered damage source.
You can build Varus AP.
You can.
Or magic damage, but it's not recommended.
You kind of need. Well, I don't know if they will. They might try that build out. It is kind of a good build, because they do have the AD carry and Talon and Tryndamere.
That's true. Yeah.
But Swain being a very powerful AP threat on Windsor Park side, and they've got the Sivir and Graves for AD, Soraka for supporting, and then the Ornn obviously for tanking. So yeah, both team comps have, I say good team comps. I should say both teams have good team comps. But
which team would you give the advantage to based on team
comp? At this point, I'm actually not sure. Both these teams could go either way. It just depends really. We saw top lane matchup not too favorable for Windsor Park. So I'm looking at that lane again because I want to see Ornn not maybe die early on, because that will be the only way they could keep the game in their favor. Maybe farm out till late. They were doing that well. Vayne last game had a ton of CS, but just nothing there to keep her alive. But now they've got the Soraka and then the Ornn for frontline as well. So it's going to be a different story this time around, I think.
Yeah, these are pretty different team comps from what we had last game, with only one pick being similar, being the Swain, but it's being played by Windsor Park now instead of by Dakota. So we're going to likely see a whole different type of style of game here.
Yep.
But we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens is right. And we're about to head into the Rift here. Both teams, I think, gave it their all last game. Dakota obviously coming out on top because of some early on plays, but that could change here, as we're not sure whether or not, at least this game, these teams are pretty similar.
Yeah, it almost kind of seems like Windsor Park is almost taking this game maybe a little bit more seriously after that first
Yeah,
game
maybe
loss,
a bit.
with more standard picks than the kind of
Would have liked,
Yasuo's,
yeah.
Vaynes.
Would have liked to seen the tank jungle just to round out their late game comp, but we'll see if Graves can make some plays and maybe change my mind.
Yeah, you can even build Graves with a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit of health on him.
A little bit of health.
He does get some armor naturally as well. So yeah, Dakota this side being on this time being on the red side, and Windsor Park being on the blue side. Their little switch there.
Yeah,
so,
they're just switching so that the other team gets the first pick and
yeah,
gets the final counter pick.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, both teams not looking to cheese early on like last time. Dakota did go for a weird, or I should say Windsor Park went for a weird early game.
Yeah, they went for kind of a 5-man invade topside to get the early ward.
Didn't really turn out to much, but yeah, it was interesting to watch.
Yeah, well, it almost led to some early game fireworks, but not this game, as both teams kind of start more standard.
They're a bit more scared now. They don't want to try and push their luck too much. Some wards going down by Dakota here to try and protect their blue, as Sejuani's really reliant on that mana.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are a little bit more scared of giving anything away early and kind of letting snowball happen. So teams are just waiting for minions to spawn right now, and jungle camps as well.
Standard openings as well for both teams. Trinamir actually going for the Doran's shield, give him a little bit more health there, as he's scared he's gonna maybe give a kill over early on, and that's not what they want.
Yeah, he wants to just play safe early. There's no reason for him to try to play too offensively, so Doran's is not a bad start.
Little emote show going on mid lane. A new implement in League of Legends, purely for cosmetic, but it's still fun.
Interesting jungle pathing by Sejuani. He takes the blue buff and is now kind of just roaming around, while Graves on the other side is just about to finish his Raptor camp.
Yeah.
Sejuani puts down the early ward in near the river. She's now going to the Scuttle Crab.
And Trinamir getting some good early damage on the Ornn. Not a whole lot Ornn can do until he gets some items.
Swain is a little bit behind in experience in the mid lane, but he has some damage down on the Talon, so it's a pretty, I guess, almost even trade right now. Talon's actually at just over half health right now.
There's doing a bit of damage to this Soraka as well, but Sivir is actually full health, so she's going to be able to harass them. No real trouble at all.
Tryndamere is going to be running down the middle. He's going to spot Graves.
Yeah, Graves is in a weird spot right now. He's taking the Scuttle Crab, but Tryndamere is kind of out of position.
Graves puts down the ward topside to let him know if that Tryndamere is coming.
Yep.
Smart play, playing just a little bit more safe. Sejuani crosses over. She's now going back to her blue side to clear the rest of the wolves and likely the Grom.
Graves actually looking to invade a bit here. Take these chickens away from Sejuani. They do reset though, and Graves gives up. Those things are hard to take. They also chase you pretty far.
Yeah, his team pinged him to be careful, as they don't know where Sejuani is right now.
It's always better safe than sorry at this point.
Exactly.
I'm just waiting for both teams to try and pull the trigger, I guess. Swain getting a good combo on that Talon. And I'm looking mid lane here to see if Talon can do anything in Swain. Swain does have the CS advantage, and if Talon can pull off something, then that'll be good for him, but if he can't, then Swain is just going to become a monster, and you don't want an AP and an AD threat on the team, because it's very hard to build against that.
Yeah, you don't, as best you can, you don't want to allow the enemy team to force you to build kind of both defensives, being magic and armor defense.
Yep. And Windsor Park have a very aggressive bot lane both games so far. They've pushed in their opponents a lot. Soraka going for a ward here, but might actually find Sejuani. Sejuani just pops a ward in there and walks away.
Yeah, Sejuani was going to go down and try to maybe catch the Windsor Park bot lane out of position, but smart ward by Soraka.
Still hovering bot lane.
Still sticking around. Oh, she's going to be seen in the brush now.
Yep, and Windsor Park is looking to
recall on top
sit
of a
back
ward
here at least. Yeah, she's gonna just back and don't have any trouble with that. Orin actually picks up the first blood top lane against Tryndamere, and that's a great thing to happen for Windsor Park. Let's get a replay of that. Orin not having too much 1v1 potential. If you know how to play him, he can, but we're just about to take that replay. Orin gets a good knock up there into just Tryndamere actually kind of being out of position at that point.
Yeah, it puts Orin on low health now, so he's in an interesting spot.
Graves was there to support him a little bit, but a nice early gold lead for Windsor Park, as they're probably going to need it, given the scariness of the late game of Dakota.
Yeah, Sejuani spent a lot of time kind of just hanging out. She's
hasn't gotten much done.
Yeah, she's currently level 3 and she just got it, so taking the scuttle. So she's a little bit behind the Graves right now. She's just backed and
yeah, she did just hit level 4 though.
Yep.
But yeah, Graves did get the first back, so he's going to be out first before Sejuani backs here.
Yeah, he has his first level jungle item as well as
bot lane looking like their first back as well. Let's see what they can purchase here. Sivir does pick up a BF sword. Soraka getting another upgrade in her support item. It's not too much has been bought here. Orin, obviously, an interesting champion in League of Legends. He can build items while he's in lane. He does not have to go back to shop because he is a blacksmith.
Yeah, the only reason he'll go back is if he's really low health.
Yeah, he doesn't need to buy from any third-party shop items.
Yeah, well.
Anyway. Sejuani, like we said, a little bit behind the Graves, but I don't think that'll matter too much once you start getting into the team fights, as Sejuani is going to be a lot more prevalent than Graves, unless Graves can make something happen right away. Graves is an early game jungler who wants to be doing stuff early on, and this Graves hasn't been doing too much, I gotta say.
Yep, Talon's going to walk out of mid lane to help the Sejuani. Looks like Sej is actually going to give this blue to Talon.
Yep. And that's good. Talon needs some sustain to just continuously trade with Swain.
Yeah, that blue buff's just going to give him some extra mana and just allow him to stick in lane a little bit
Looks
longer.
like they might try and bait out this kill here, as Talon just cleanly takes that, and Graves is going to come up, and Sejuani is also there as well.
Graves is ahead of Sejuani right now, so
they do not know Sejuani's in there, but Graves could dash over at any point. Sejuani opting out of it because she's kind of scared.
Yeah, they decided against that. Tryndamere was also kind of coming down river, so it would have been a 3v2.
Yeah. So a 1k gold lead for Windsor Park at this point. They do have the 1 kill on their side. That's first blood gold on Orin, and he picked up himself some nice armor items to lane against the Tryndamere, and that's really good for him. He does not want to give Tryndamere anything at all. 40
armor from the Warden's Mail and another 20 from the Glacial Shroud.
Yeah, he's going to turn that into a Frozen Heart for sure.
Yep. Sejuani's going to back right now. And Graves is taking his blue buff. He's now going to head to the river, possibly head topside.
Yeah, maybe he's looking for something now, but he's got to try and do something at least
he's opt against
before
that.
something bad happens.
He's actually going to go into the enemy jungle. He doesn't look like he can make up his mind right now. He was about to go topside enemy jungle, and now he's going to go top lane.
Now, actually, this might be a good call for him. Orin does pop out the ult. Tryndamere does flash it though, but he does have the brittle on him. The red buff going down. Tryndamere ulting. He's not going to be able to die. He's going to be there for a little bit, as Orin does pick up the second kill onto Tryndamere, also burning his flash there. At least Graves picked up something there. That's good for him. He's got a point on the board. A nice assist going over. They share the gold. They're going to get some good damage on this top lane turn, and all in all, good play by Windsor Park.
Down bottom hasn't been as exciting as we thought.
No,
teams are kind of just chilling.
Dakota, as presumed, would go for the safe laning, and they won't try anything crazy, but that just means Windsor Park gets to farm up a lot more, and since Swain actually picking up a solo kill mid lane on the Talon, it's looking even more scary for Dakota at this point, as they have no kills on the board, and 2 kills on the top lane solo laner, and 1 kill on the mid lane, and they also pick up first turret blood top lane. fight breaking out bot lane. It looked like Sejuani comes from the back, and Varus also ulted. That's a kill going over to Sejuani, as Varus may be looking to pick up this one. He's going to flash for it, and he picks up the kill. So that's 1 kill on Sejuani and 1 on Varus, and that's a nice way to pick up some gold back for Dakota there, and they're going to get some damage on bot lane.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to even out the turret damage right there on the bot lane. And let's take another look at that fight. As you see, Soraka gets taken down by Sejuani, and Sivir is going to get chased under turret.
She got flashed on there by the Varus there to secure the kill.
Yeah, it's good for Varus to get that
Cut
kill.
back to life here. Ornn and Graves pick up another kill on the Tryndamere, and it is looking pretty grim for the top lane at this point. Tryndamere is 0-3.
Yeah, that Ornn's in a really good spot right now, 3-0.
Yeah, Ornn
He has his Frozen Heart built, as well as his upgraded boots, Ninja Tabbies.
At this point, I would say Graves doesn't need to go top anymore. I think Ornn is fine on his own. He's not going to die to the Tryndamere anymore because he's got too much armor to really die.
Yeah, at this point, the Ornn is just so far ahead that you're kind of just wasting your time as a jungler going up there. He's already going to continue to kind of just keep that lead.
Some interesting plays going on bot side. It looks like Dakota wants to focus that instead. We thought that Windsor Park were going to be more focused on bot lane, but it turns out they didn't need to focus on that, as their top lane is actually doing quite well, as he wasn't doing that well last game. No, the odds have kind of swapped a little bit, as we have a little bit of a pause going on here. Technical difficulties. Alright, so let's talk this matchup. I want to talk about the jungle matchups. Both jungles have been doing well. Sejuani has picked up a kill and an assist, and so has Graves. They're relatively similar farm. And all in all, they're pretty evenly matched up. But when you look at the top lane, you get a scary Ornn that's 2-0 with 2 finished armor items, and a 0-3 Tryndamere. So at this point, you have a strong tank for Windsor Park, but also a strong tank for Dakota. But then you miss the damage on Tryndamere, so it's kind of a rough situation.
And we're gonna get back into the game here. Just some quick little technical difficulties.
And both teams sorted it out relatively quickly, not too much of a delay. As we look to see a 2.5k gold lead almost for Windsor Park at this point. Sejuani whiffing the ult here mid lane, as Swain just kind of walks back and forth there to dodge that. That's a big miss. They could have gotten some nice gold, shutdown gold on the Swain. He only has 1 kill, never mind. But that's a big miss for them. Dakota just trying to scramble for something at this point.
Yeah, let's take another look at this last fight, the Sejuani. So she whiffs that ult, and they just decide to
it was kind of unfortunate. Fight breaking out in mid lane again, though, as Swain pops the Zonias. He's going to heal up a bunch from his ult here, and then the Soraka ult also coming out. I don't think they can take Swain out. An interesting flash by Sejuani as she actually goes down here, and that's a 2v1 loss.
Yeah, so you actually popped an hourglass, or sorry, a stopwatch.
The stopwatch, yeah.
So it's like a one-time use.
Oh, and Graves almost hitting the combo he wanted. He wanted to hit the Q alt combo to quickly burst the Talon down, but Talon can just jump over the wall. So
yeah, they're pinging the Talon right now, but he's gonna teleport away, and it doesn't like they're gonna take turret damage instead on the mid lane turret at about 75% right now.
Ornn does not care about Tryndamere. Tryndamere is nothing to him.
Yeah, he's a level ahead, and
he's not going to be taking any damage at all.
He's over an item ahead, actually.
I realize how much remains hidden.
Looking a bit more in Wizard Park's favor. They did just burn a bunch there, but so did Dakota as well. Flashes both on Sejuani and Talon. Talon's is almost up, though. And I gotta give credit to Swain mid lane. That was a good play to go for the buying the stopwatch early on, just in case you get caught out with your pants down there.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do right now is give away a kill to somebody like a Talon who has the ability to kind of snowball that 1 kill and turn it into a little bit more.
At this point, I would have to say that I think the scariest person to get kills is Varus, because he will be pretty hard to deal with, even for Ornn being fed. It looks like Windsor Park is actually going to go for the dragon here as well. That's another Ocean Drake giving early game sustain. Varus misses the ult here, and this is a big fight. This is 3v2 for 4v4 now, but the dragon does get taken by Graves. Sivir picks up the kill on Varus, also Swain killing the Sejuani, and that was not what Dakota wanted there. They had the advantage at first with the 4v3, but Varus missed his ult, and that was crucial.
Yeah, while that fight was happening to the Sejuani before she died, they actually got the dragon as well, so they have an Ocean Drake, giving them a little bit more sustain. Next up is a Wind Drake, so that's going to get a little bit more movement speed.
Yep. Some stuff happening mid lane still here, as Talon looks to get caught out here, and that's another kill going over to Swain, as he is a very scary
Talon
character right
playing
now.
a little bit far forward, even though his turret was still there. So was all of Windsor Park.
Windsor Park looking to make another turret go down here.
Yeah, they take that outer turret in the mid lane. It looks like they're going to get the inner to about 50%. Actually, they're going to take this whole turret most likely.
They are 100% going to take this turret, as Tryndamere gets the one top lane too.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So Tryndamere gets something finally.
Tryndamere just he's gonna just use his body now and just push the lane. That's all he can really do.
Yeah, he's gonna try to split push. He's currently about 5 CS up over the Ornn, but Ornn has those 2 kills and 2 assists.
Ornn, yeah, being a very more useful member of the team.
Both teams now kind of group up around the scuttle, or the topside scuttle crab.
Rift Scuttler.
And as well as the Rift
Herald, yeah.
Which will do big damage to turrets.
Yeah, if they want that.
Looks like they're just going to put some wards down.
Tryndamere almost in danger here. As actually, Graves does get sandwiched by the Sejuani here, and she's looking to stun him up. Tryndamere getting some damage on him here. Flashing over the wall. Graves does mix the ult, but Tryndamere does pick up the kill, and that's 1 kill on Tryndamere now, and he's going to look to make it the second one too. But he backs off as he realizes he doesn't have much time left on his ult there, and that could have been bad for him.
Yep, good play. That
Tryndamere,
1 kill.
Yeah, picking up some gold back on him. That's good for him.
Another little fight going on.
Yep, Swain.
Blue buff.
Swain looking to be very scary here, as Varus is trying his best to deal with him. He's got the red buff to back him off, but and he picks it up there. I thought the Soraka was going to help out the Swain, but Soraka was actually out of position, and she looks like she's going to be the one dying as well here. And Varus picks up another kill there as a double kill. Soon to follow maybe Sivir here. Sivir is kiting well, but it's not a whole lot she can do against this Talon here, unless Talon can... Oh, he didn't actually pick up the kill, unfortunately, because Sivir's too fast.
Let's take another look at that kill on Varus from the Swain.
That was
low health. Varus is at about half.
And if only Soraka was staying with this Swain there, that would have been another easy kill, but Varus just kites him out and picks up the kills here. And
I think Soraka's healing was on cooldown right there, so
it might have been.
Actually couldn't do a whole lot there, and was not willing to kind of sacrifice herself as well.
She ended up dying anyway, but that's fine because Varus is now... Oh, and then they're picking up Ornn here as well, because Ornn is out of position. Ornn does flash away, maybe looking to knock up... Oh, and that's unfortunate. He does miss the ult. Soraka ult going down too. They're still chasing Ornn here, and he doesn't look to be actually going down. He's going to do some damage here.
They're actually going to rotate their whole team to this 1 kill on
Ornn is so tanky, he just does not want to die, and finally being picked up by the Tryndamere there, and that's another good chunk of gold going into Tryndamere.
The rest of Windsor Park was slowly collapsing in behind that Ornn, but he died, so they just turned
not
around.
quick enough, unfortunate.
Yeah, close, but not quite.
Yeah.
Looks like they're just gonna... Actually, Sivir's gonna start the Rift Herald.
The gold has actually almost been even. Actually, the gold is highly in favor of Windsor Park at this point, but the kills almost evened up now. There's the one character I said that you shouldn't probably give the kills to, got all the kills, believe it or not. Yeah. So it's gonna be harder for Windsor Park to deal with Varus. Well, that harder at least than any other character that got
gold lead, a lot of it comes from turrets, as Windsor Park has now taken 5 to Dakota's just 2. They also just picked up the Rift Herald, so they'll likely get some more damage on one of Dakota's turrets.
Tryndamere is doing work though with those turrets. He's gone 2 by himself. but that's not a whole lot compared to the 5 of the Dakota team.
Yeah, Tryndamere is now sitting at 2-4-1. He's now in a kind of 1v1 with Warren as other players collapse.
Oh.
Tryndamere pops his ult with the Undying Rage. He's going to survive.
Oh, and just about found him with the Graves ult there, but he's going to be okay.
Yeah, he's going to make it out just fine. He's got a Lulu there for an extra bit of
Warren actually picks up the kill with his ult there.
Wow, he caught up. Yeah. Good work by Ornn.
Warren actually...
As they're going to have a group up mid lane.
Yep. They're maybe looking to make their final push here.
Yep.
Windsor Park has the power to do it. They summon Rift Herald, and that's a big thing for them because they're going to get a ton of damage on this turret here, maybe even one-shotting it at this point. And the turret does actually fall. Sejuani tried to stop it, but it looks like she falls too. And that's bad. That's looking very bad for them as the inhibitor taking a bunch of damage from the Rift Herald. They're diving them at this point. Swain getting some kills, Ornn getting some kills. Ornn is actually still face tanking the turret. He doesn't care about it because he's got so much armor. Soraka is even there for more healing, and there's not a whole lot Dakota can do to fix this. As they actually look to end the game here, the Nexus is open.
Rift Herald is still alive.
Yep.
Hitting on,
there's only 2 members of Dakota left, and they're not going to be able to stop Windsor Park as they just look to end the game here.
As Rift Herald slowly whacks the Nexus to death. There's a little Rift Herald dance right there.
I love it.
Yep.
He's quite the dancer there.
He's celebrating.
And another fantastic game by both teams there.
Yeah, wow, what a turnaround from game 1. Windsor Park got...
It was almost like we were watching the same thing, but from the opposite side.
Yeah, exactly. Windsor Park kind of fell behind early in that first game, just like how Dakota did in the second game. And not a lot can be done once one team gets ahead so far in this series.
It's gonna be fun to see this last game now because I'm not sure what's gonna turn up now because we've seen both sides pull out strong early games to snowball them into the lead, but it's just gonna depend on the drafting at this point. If they're gonna maybe ban Swain, that's probably a champion we're gonna see banned as both games it's been strong.
The question is which side bans Swain.
Yeah, it's probably going to be first ban.
Yeah, that's what I would expect. That would be the smart move from both
That would be
teams.
the smart move. If it's not banned, obviously the team that gets it pretty much wins. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, both times the Swain has shown to be a very strong character, so it's going to be hard for both teams to sort of pass up that ban.
Well, I wonder if this is now the game where both teams kind of pull out their preferred, maybe signature champions.
Maybe there'll be a bit more wackier picks to throw some people off too. It's going to be an interesting game for sure. Just looking to get all the players together here for this final game. This obviously a very high stake for this one. This is for all the money here.
Yeah, this is game 3, so tied at 1-1 right now.
Yep.
This is winner take all.
Winner take all, Dakota and Windsor Park. Obviously both showing that they are prevalent teams and they can show that they can win games on their own as well.
For sure.
I'm gonna be surprised, or I'm gonna be interested into seeing what top lane's picks are gonna be, because both times the tankier top lane has actually come out on top here too. Yeah,
a little bit surprising. You would almost expect them to play a little bit defensively and maybe not get as much of a lead as they did, but
it's hard to say because there are
kind of fell perfectly
some
in place.
tanks can get the lead on their own, especially against characters like Tryndamere who aren't as strong early on, or will obviously take advantage of that and try and make a play early. And it paid off for him.
Yeah, smart knowledge there from the Ornn top lane in game 2, realizing that that Tryndamere is a little bit weak early on and he can possibly take an advantage from that. Which is exactly what he did.
Right. Might have had some technical difficulties during that last couple games. Some players were having some issue with lag. Obviously, it's a big problem. It does hinder your ability to play the game. So hopefully we can get that solved.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to take an extra minute here to figure out their either lag issues or technical difficulties they had.
So let's talk about what champions we want to see in this final game here.
What do I want to see?
Yeah, what do you want to see pulled out here?
Well, the League of Legends just put out a new champion called Pyke, so that could be interesting to see.
It would be cool to see someone whip out the Pyke.
It would be interesting to see, but I wonder with game this many stakes
It
kind
might
of
not
in this
be.
game.
Yeah, it might not be.
Considering it's been out for 2 days, do these players kind of have enough practice with this champ, or do they kind of understand how it works enough to where they're not going to kind of hinder their team playing it?
It's also kind of playing onto the side that the enemy maybe not know how to play against him either.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Things that I expect to see, again, of more kind of offensive teams for maybe Dakota, trying to maybe snowball a little bit more as they kind of just got behind early and stayed behind the whole game.
Yeah.
Could never really kind of come back in that second game, and they're now almost kind of playing from behind right now. They won that first game, and now they're kind of have to play kind of on their heels maybe a little bit.
Yep. It's going to be an interesting one, as hopefully some of those problems were solved earlier on. Both teams probably feeling pretty scared about this last game, and I can imagine it being a very nerve-wracking thing as we get into the champ select here. The first ban, let's see if it's Swain.
Yep.
Might not be Swain.
I was going to say, it's taken a little long for it to not be Swain. Okay.
So it's not Swain.
What? Another smart ban, though.
Yep.
Yasuo kind of took over that first game.
It's definitely something to look back on, the Darius ban coming out as well.
Okay, that's another character that had a good first game. Bans are not coming too quick this game.
Yep, they're not really. They're not really sure. They're really thinking now, and similar bans coming out here. I'm surprised we haven't seen a Swain ban here, because I would just imagine Dakota is going to want to pick that up first pick here. So that better be the last ban for Windsor Park, or they're not gonna like to see the Swain locked in.
Yeah, so it looks like Dakota might have a little bit of hidden knowledge here, as that's the third game in a row that they've banned a Riven.
Yeah, they've also banned Kaisa as well.
Yeah,
I support banning Kaisa. She is very scary to deal with. She can get out of hand. She's hard to build against.
She's also a new champion.
Also
so,
that, yep. She's always a mystery with what those new champions are really capable of.
I'm still surprised by this Kane ban by
Another con ban too.
By Windsor Park. He's pretty weak early on until he gets his form change.
And
so I'm surprised that they're kind of not just like, hey, if you want to pick Kane, you go right ahead.
Yeah. Maybe they're scared it'll be actually turning out pretty well for them. And unsurprisingly, Swain picked up first pick here. I'm not sure why Windsor Park wouldn't ban that. Yeah, maybe they have a counter pick in mind for mid lane, but we'll see what they pick up here.
Well, both picks so far against the Swain have kind of been
they've been
kind
okay.
of even or favorable matchups for Swain.
They've been okay
kind of
because
interesting to see now.
Yasuo did actually do well in lane against him, but Swain obviously doesn't have to worry about Yasuo here now, as Azir and Ezreal picked up. Interesting two picks here. Ezreal being a very safe ADC, and Azir being a very late game hyper carry mid lane.
Yeah, so it looks like Azir is going to be the counter pick for this Swain, and Xayah comes in as support as well as Lulu. Xayah comes in as ADC, Lulu as that support.
So they've got the mid lane, and they're just hovering Lulu now as they
actually
look to lock in the Aurelia. Interesting.
So it looks like that's going to be top lane Aurelia.
Could be jungle, I'm assuming top, but you never know.
It could be jungle. More likely to be a top lane. A little bit more offensive as well.
So Swain, Xayah, and Irelia picked up for Dakota here. By the way, Dakota will be on the blue side this time, and Windsor Park will be on the red side again.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely interesting team comps. Graves obviously going over to Windsor Park again. They did find success on that, so why not keep it going?
And another Warwick ban. That's now the third game in a row as well for Warwick. To be
he is kind of a scary jungler. Also, Dakota hasn't picked up their junglers, so it's smart to ban the junglers now when they haven't picked them up yet. And the Ornn ban coming out by Dakota as well.
Support for Dakota still left up to be picked, and support and top lane for Windsor Park. So that's why the Ornn has been banned out.
It's going to be an interesting matchup mid lane, as we were talking about what Windsor Park is going to bring out to deal with the Swain pick, but Azir isn't necessarily an answer to Swain. He does scale a little bit harder than Swain, but Swain is a bit stronger in the middle of the game.
Yeah, it takes a little bit longer for Azir to be in a position that he can kind of straight up fight with Swain.
Yeah.
But he does have that bit of a range advantage
He
versus the Swain.
he does have the range advantage, and he has a way to peel for himself as well. There is obviously the barrier on the Swain to protect him a little bit, but
the final two bans are Skarner, so another tank jungler,
and Soraka.
And for Windsor Park, and as well as the Soraka.
Morgana being hovered here, possibly the support for Windsor Park here, a very scary support. She does do a lot of damage and provide a lot of safety for her team.
Morgana Ezreal, it's interesting lane.
It is. It's not exactly the one you would see, but
yeah, it's a little bit off meta per se.
Yeah.
Off the norm. As they lock in the Gragas jungle again.
Gragas. Actually, it was Windsor Park who had Gragas.
Oh, okay, so.
Or was it? I don't remember.
Oh.
Anyway, Gragas, yeah, obviously a scary tank jungle when he can do things, but we'll see if Dakota can make him work at this point in time. They do have the Aurelia for some AD damage top lane. They've got some fairly mixed damage here. It's just going to be the support. And it looks like it's actually the Gragas support, maybe.
Yeah, could be.
Interesting. We're going to see how that works out here for them.
Well, you could be right on the Aurelia.
It could be Aurelia support.
Or it could be Aurelia jungle.
It's going to be an interesting toss-up for Dakota's team comp here.
They have a lot of champions that can kind of play multiple different roles.
And Cho'Gath looking to be the top laner.
Okay, so there's the kind of true tank.
Yep, they do have a front line now, yep. And Dakota has a tankier team comp. They don't necessarily have a true tank, as Gragas will be the closest. Yep. It's going to be an interesting match, though. I'm not sure what to expect. I think it's actually the Aurelia support, surprisingly enough. She does have the exhaust, and Jax took TP, so...
Interesting support, Aurelia. It's,
yeah, she does have a stun now, stunning, obviously being a supporting thing. Morgana has a snare, and Aurelia has a stun. Why can't they both be supports?
Yeah, I guess. Normally you see Aurelia as a top laner.
Yeah, she's more of a carry role, but maybe Dakota's looking to whip out something scary here and maybe throw Windsor Park off guard. That is always a strategy you can rely on.
It's definitely a surprising pick, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we'll see how well it pulls off here.
Yeah.
Also Xayah being the first time we've seen that as well.
Yep. In the first game it was banned away.
Yeah, it's going to be a scary matchup between Xayah Aurelia and Morgana Ezreal. It's basically a super aggro and then a super safe team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that Ezreal has going for him is he'll likely pick the rune set that's Kleptomancy. So he's going to get
a lot of free stuff.
Exactly. He gets a little bit extra gold early on, kind of trying to almost scale based on runes.
Yep. We haven't really talked a whole lot about runes this game, but our runes are very influential to the game, and especially Ezreal having the very good synergy with that Kleptomancy rune.
Yeah.
Because he can proc it just with his Qs, not with the ability and then an auto attack. He's gonna be very safe too here with the Morgana, and Azir also gonna be a very safe pick here with the Morgana as well, because he's not going to be having to worry about any stuns or whatnot.
The one thing about Morgana is that he's going to have to, the player playing Morgana, they have to be a little bit...
they got to be quick. They got to be quick with those black shields.
Exactly. They have to be very kind of reactionary. So if they're maybe a little bit behind, it's going to make it hard for Ezreal to be as safe as he wants to be.
And it's kind of interesting to see the roles swapped here, as we've seen Dakota whip out the safe bot lanes with like the Varus, Lulu, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And now it's swapped around as Dakota has the more aggressive bot lane, and Ezreal and Morgana on Windsor Park being the more pushing ADC and support combo they've had. Also now just being kind of scared.
Yeah, they're almost kind of switching roles every game. As kind of team comps. One game, okay, we're going to play offensive and we're going to play defensive, and then the next game it's a swap, and now it's a swap back
But that's the
again.
great thing about League of Legends is every new game you could try a different style, and Ezreal actually, speaking of trying a different style, has run teleport this game instead of a combat ability.
Yeah, so maybe he's trying to get that early scaling from the Kleptomancy and then try to put almost more pressure on other lanes.
Yeah. It's a very good thing to have 2 teleports on a team, because then you have the double global pressure. Ezreal obviously can use the teleport just to get back to lane to keep ahead in gold. That's going to be a great thing for him. He doesn't necessarily need a heal because he has the ability to escape on his own plus flash. But we'll see if that pays off for him, as the teleport is an interesting spell to go with.
Yeah, he has a lot of ways to get away from that early damage with his kind of almost blink as well as a flash.
Yeah.
He also has Morgana to help him kind of peel.
Exactly.
So, yeah, he can be pretty safe in lane, so he almost, like you said, doesn't really need to have that kind of sustain from the healing himself.
And it's a gutsy call, but it's also a rewarding one if you could pull it off.
Yeah, it's a gutsy call, but it's also a smart call.
It is.
It's not one of those gutsy calls where you're like, okay, we don't really know how we're going to win, so let's pick something weird. Like, it's still a smart decision.
Yeah.
It could still very well work out for them.
And this top lane matchup, because we got to talk about top lane, because that's where all the action's been happening early on.
Yep.
We've got the more aggressive top laner on Jax on the Dakota side this time, so he did perform well the game 1, getting the early kill onto Renekton. But we'll see if Jax can actually pull out an early kill onto Cho'Gath here, because Cho'Gath is a little different than Renekton. He's going to be a little bit more tanky.
As the summoners all spawn in here.
Yep.
Just buying their first early items, and will run their way to lane. So, do you think it'll just be a standard start, where both teams kind of just go to their lanes, maybe help each other, or do you think there's going to be some invades early on?
Game already paused here. There was a bug splat, apparently. Problem with the League of Legends, they always have those bug splats.
We haven't been too lucky today with the client working as smoothly as we hoped it would, but it should just be a quick fix, and we'll be back up.
And it's not really delayed too much. We've had plenty of time to watch the games unfold.
Yeah, it's just some quick pauses here and there. It's nothing too major.
So it was actually the support Irelia. She went with Glacial Augment as a rune. Glacial Augment obviously giving you some slow potential on your first auto attack. It's a bit more of a CC reliant rune, because then now you can lock down people better, and especially with Irelia.
Kind of almost trying to enhance that slow that her kid already has, make it a little bit more of a problem when Ezreal or Morgana or other champions on the enemy team get hit by it.
Yeah,
making it
I'm really excited.
Something a little bit more to watch out for.
Really excited to see how well the Irelia support does work, because I might pick it up myself.
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of Irelia supports before.
But yeah, again, runes, we'll talk about them real quick, because we didn't actually talk about them a whole lot. Kleptomancy on Ezreal. Kleptomancy is a rune where if you use an ability and then auto attack, you get a random consumable item, being a potion or an elixir to give you a bit more damage or health.
Yep.
A little package of gold you can maybe spend some money on. But yeah, that's a very good thing on Ezreal, because his Q counts as an ability and an auto attack, so he can proc it at the same time.
Yeah, so it really helps him scale even faster. He's one of the strongest champions.
He gets a lot of gold.
When using Kleptomancy, that's what it's called. Some of the other runes, there's, again, just like in Game 1, the Swain and the Gragas take Electrocute, so they want a little bit more of that burst damage, really kill people as fast as possible. They don't really... It can be helpful in sustained longer fights, but it's really meant to kind of just burst someone
It's
down.
like a combo spell. Like, you get the 3 abilities off, it gives you a bit more damage on top of that, and that's really good for Swain and Gragas, because they are ability-based characters.
On the other
Azir
team, Azir has that as well, yes.
It can be good for short trades for him, because he doesn't like to take those extended trades. But we'll see.
He kind of like wants to attack you 3 times, get that proc, and then be done with it.
Exactly.
Kind of reset, do it all over again. He doesn't want to kind of have that sustain, like, you punch me, I punch you, for like a long time.
Right.
So it looks like somebody actually crashed out of the game, so we're just waiting for them to load back in.
Once they load back in, it should be fine,
Yep.
We do have a bit more of a I'd say mid lane is going to be a bit more of a snooze fest this time around. Not really anyone going aggressive like the Yasuo or Talon. We just have 2 late game mages just kind of trying to farm up. But we'll see if maybe some jungle pressure can change that. Well, this is the first time we've seen Cho'Gath picked as well. We have seen him in the past of our broadcasts, and he has been a problem as he can be quite the big tank. He's very hard to take down.
Yeah, he's one of the first kind of true tanks that we've seen in this game so far. Everybody else has, they build some health.
Ornn was kind of a true tank, but he's not going to be as tanky as Cho'Gath, but he can. Cho'Gath doesn't provide as much engage. He'll just kind of stand there and not die.
Yeah, he wants to soak up as much damage as possible.
Yeah, he doesn't really care about damage.
He just ends up having so much health.
Yep, he's just huge.
Exactly. He's hard to get through. So it looks like this pause is taking a little bit longer than we thought it would.
We should be able to get back in this game soon. It's just these issues need to be solved, obviously, because
of course, we want to make this
we want to make this a fair game. If anyone's feeling out of place, then they're gonna need they need to be looked at, and obviously that's fine.
So, explain the kind of Gragas versus Graves matchup to me.
Okay.
Who has the advantage early on, later on?
So Graves should have the advantage early on. He should be trying to make some plays, but Graves can make plays. Okay. It's going to be up to Graves to try and counter jungle a bit better, because Graves obviously is like probably one of the best early game junglers. He can do whatever he wants early on. He's got a lot of damage front loaded just from his auto attacks alone. And also his auto attacks push back the jungle minions, so he doesn't take a lot of damage in the jungle too. That's, I'm guessing, why he was banned in the first game, but he sneaked by these past 2 games, and Windsor Park have picked him up both times, so maybe this will be the deciding factor for them, because they didn't have too much success in the jungle first game on Gragas. Surprisingly, on Dakota now. Yeah,
the Graves in the first game that he was played in, actually the second game of the series, he wasn't the big kind of talking point to the game. He didn't really ever get super far ahead, but he did kind of just enough to get his team the advantages where they need them. He went top a couple times. We talked about maybe him starting to move into the other lanes as the Ornn in the top lane kind of got a pretty big lead early on. And he seemed to do that. He kind of left Ornn alone to do his thing against in the 1v1 against Tryndamere.
Yeah. Looking at these team comps again, I gotta say, I do like Dakota's comp a little bit better. Even though they do have the Aurelia support, it's a little weird, but I do like it because they've got a lot of all-in. They've got tank killing potential with Jax and Aurelia, both having some true damage and mixed damage on their kit to just whittle down Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath's not going to be able to do too much. Cho'Gath will probably be if he gets behind against Jax, I don't think he's going to be able to do too much. And even if he's ahead later on, Jax is probably going to tear apart Cho'Gath. So we might see a later game going in favor of Dakota, even though the hyper carry of Azir is on the Windsor Park side.
Yeah. The thing about most tanks in the game is you're even more effective when you can have a strong early game and not give away kills or give away free gold to champions that are a little bit more offensive. Because if they start getting more items before you do, well, it's hard to tank somebody that does more damage than you can tank.
Especially when, especially when it's like something like Jax, where he will, he won't really care too much about what Cho'Gath's gonna do to him unless he gets knocked up. But if he can dodge that knock up, then he's pretty much good to go.
Yeah, he even has Jax has that kind of kit where he can almost counter the knock up with the ability to kind of jump back in.
Yeah, he can jump away from it or dodge the auto attacks with his counter
even just
ability.
Kind of, if absolutely necessary, let himself get knocked up, wait a second, and then jump back onto Cho'Gath. Not the best call, but if push comes to shove, that's one thing that he kind of helps his kid out.
And I want to see this bot lane matchup really badly, because just the Xayah Irelia against the Morgana Ezreal, it's nothing like we've seen before.
Yeah, both comps are a little bit weird. Morgana is designed to play as a support, but she's not more one of the kind of high-tier supports.
She's got the ability to catch people out and the ability to stop her allies from getting CC'd. But yeah, she's more of a mage, more or less, which gives them a bit more of a damage factor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're looking at Aurelia support, which is also a damaging champion.
Yeah, she's more one of almost the kind of offensively minded supports, with trying to catch one player out and keep her players from being caught out. Whereas things like Rakan or Soraka, like we've seen in previous
people
games,
out, but he's more meant to just kind of protect your team.
Yeah. Morgana's a lot kind of less protection and more playing offensively than things like Soraka, Rakan. Whereas
We're about
Aurelia,
to head back into this game real quick.
Aurelia, who
it seems
knows?
that people have sorted things out, so we should be able to get in here soon.
It's a longer pause than we thought. Looks like there was quite a few difficulties.
Maybe they're just
couple crashes.
Final game jitters. Maybe they need to take a bathroom break. It's fine. It's fine.
So, yeah, well, it gives both teams kind of time to strategize.
They gotta get that mentally prepared.
It'll be interesting to see what comes out of right out of this pause if teams kind of all decide to group up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Or if it's just going to be standard start.
It's going to be an interesting one regardless. There's a lot at stake at this game. This is the final game. Both teams are going to give it their all. They're going to see if we can get back in there. And we're about to resume the game here. Both teams
are back in the game.
Ready to go.
We're going to get this. Looks like both teams are starting with actually the lower side invade.
Yep. Nice Q over by Ezreal there, and first damage onto the Jax. That's game.
Only the Cho'Gath is not grouped up with his team, so it's all 5 for Dakota.
Yep.
And,
they were just looking. They were scouting. Jax is going back up there, though.
Yep. So now they're all kind of hanging around bottom side.
Interesting. Starting by Morgana, actually. She opts for the Ancient Coin instead of Spell Thief. Spell Thief's giving her gold every time she lands an ability, while as Ancient Coin just gives her some mana coins and extra gold on the ground. It could pay off potentially if they get a lot of minion kills, but that's only if they can overmatch this super aggressive Irelia Xayah bot lane.
Yeah, it kind of gives her the opportunity to get a little bit farther ahead than some other items, but you have to kind of play it properly to get that advantage from the Ancient Coin.
And the minions have clashed against each other, so we're about to get this game started. As both teams are going to just farm up for a bit here.
Both bottom lanes help their jungle out with the early blue and red buff respectively. Looks like top lane, both top lanes are taking a little bit of damage.
Yep, there's been some trading already, and Cho'Gath doesn't mind trading too much as his passive allows him to actually take some health from the minions when he kills them. Jax did open the Corrupting Potion there, so it's going to give him 3 charges of some health regen and mana regen, so he's going to use that wisely if he wants to stay alive in this lane.
Whereas Cho'Gath started the more standard Thorin shield, just giving him a little bit of extra defense.
Exactly.
Typical Cho'Gath buying health and defense.
That makes sense. You don't really need anything else. Oh, and a snare actually going on to Morgana as the Irelia is doing a lot of damage. Ezreal going a little aggro. He's on top of Xayah and he flashes away too. So that's an exhaust burned on Irelia and a flash burned on Ezreal. He does have the teleport though.
While that's going on the top side, right near top lane, the Gragas and the Graves caught
Graves went a little too aggressive there, as maybe not the best call against a Swain, but he does actually make it away.
He was actually chasing Gragas all the way down the river. He had Gragas on about 10% health, but then ran into the Swain, so he had
Jax
to turn back.
Gonna actually pick up first blood on him and double buffs, though that's not very good for Graves, as he did burn his flash to try and secure the kill on the Gragas. And it looks like Jax just wants to try and kill Cho'Gath as well now here. Cho'Gath is actually scaring him a little bit, as Cho'Gath doesn't really care too much about the Jax doing damage as he does flash onto him, and the minions actually do pick up the kill as Cho'Gath gets that kill back. Now he's going to chase down Gragas. Oh, there's so many G's in this game.
Yep.
And so that double buff is just flying all over the place as it was on Graves initially, and then it went to the Jax and then back to Cho'Gath. So we have an even match here. Windsor Park has a bit of a gold lead.
Jax uses that early TP and teleports back up after that death, so he's not going to lose too much from that. We talked earlier about how Graves, he's a strong early game jungler, so that early death doesn't help that out too much.
No, that's going to be tough for Graves to stay in the game, even so that he's still trying to make plays, even though he just got killed. He should just be trying to farm up.
He's actually ahead in level to the Gragas, but Gragas is still at 0-0, so they're actually pretty even right now. Graves is a little bit more efficient on that first jungle clear.
Oh, and Ezreal looking to make the play on Irelia here as he does dodge the stun with his arcane shift. Getting some nice Qs down. It's always good for Ezreal. He gets free gold every time he does that, so.
Yep, he's going to force Irelia to back.
Yep.
And change up kind of the backing timing between Xayah and Irelia a little bit there.
Farm difference is pretty big mid lane here as Azir does have 40 CS to Swain's 28. And top lane as well, Cho'Gath has 30 CS to Jax's 19, 32 I should say. So
yeah, the farm is not too even this early in the game, which is pretty surprising.
Yeah, and it looks like some fighting's going on top lane here as Cho'Gath actually picks up another kill onto Jax. And that's not what you want to see. You don't want to see your Jax getting killed early on to Cho'Gath, because that just makes Cho'Gath even stronger, as he does have his ult, and he eats minions or champions, and if he gets the kill, he gets permanent health. And he can do that infinitely stacking. So the earlier he starts, the better, and at almost 6 minutes in the game, you don't want to see him start stacking that.
Yeah, 2 kills already on the Cho'Gath. We talked about earlier how Jax wants to try to keep it even early, not let that Cho'Gath get too far ahead.
He wanted to either get ahead or keep it even. He tried to go aggressive. He did pick up a kill for himself, and that was first blood, but giving over 2 kills right back to Cho'Gath is not what you want.
Yeah, it just doesn't make the matchup any easier for Jax until later in the game where Cho'Gath kind of just flattens out almost.
Yeah.
Doesn't have that kind of infinite power spike forever.
Jax, will eventually just be able to deal with Cho'Gath once he gets some items, but that is to say if he can.
That's still a while away.
Interesting fight going out here bot lane as Ezreal's taking a lot of damage. He's actually going to go down to Xayah.
Kill onto an ADC early.
It looks like
good for Dakota.
Looks like the Irelia support is actually paying off. A nice, interesting play, almost getting the kill onto Morgana there. Close call for the Xayah. Very gutsy play.
Let's actually take another look at that fight. So you see here, Xayah and Irelia, they slow that Ezreal, and he just can't get away. He can't go fast enough. His arcane shift is down.
She does go for the early. Look at this play here. She goes for the Q and instantly flashing and trying to E to kill her, and just one more auto wasn't close enough. But yeah, that's just how you got to gamble on those kinds of things.
Yeah, it's a worthwhile gamble as an ADC. Getting early kills really helps you spike out ahead. And
looks like Cho'Gath trying to fight this Jax still some more.
Looks like Graves and Gragas are going to end up in the jungle. They're going to see each other at Graves' blue buff.
Graves is taking this blue rather smoothly.
Yeah.
No trouble there. And Dakota and Windsor Park both pretty even right now. Just a small 1k gold, I shouldn't say small, 1k gold lead for Windsor Park at this point just due to CS differences. But that could change really quickly as we'll see if there are some plays to be made. Great, because very low in the jungle and almost about to run into Cho'Gath.
It looks like Dakota might be looking for the early dragon play as they just roamed up and put a ward in Dragon
They
Pit.
did. There's always got to keep that under
At the same
control.
time, Graves kills the bottom side Scuttle Crab, so they also have vision of the pit right now.
Yeah, and that's an Infernal Dragon too. It'll give you more damage. Both teams very high damage comps, so they probably want that as soon as possible, or at least when they can.
They just don't want to give it away to
And
the
this
other team.
fight is actually looking very good for Azir and Graves here as Swain does get the barrier. He's going to make it his way away, but oh, and Graves actually face checks him and goes for the alt Q, or the alt auto, just to kill him there. Very nice play by Graves there. He got some kills. He got a kill back, so now he's back in the game. He can farm well. He's doing better than the Gragas at this point, and we'll take another look at that fight. And Graves almost scarily walking to his death here as Swain does come back, but he gets a nice alt auto to just finish him off there.
Yeah, interesting play by Graves. A little bit risky face checking into a bush.
They did have it warded, but
true.
Swain put a pink ward in just as he did that, so it could have been dangerous.
Yeah, some lucky timing there for Graves.
They should be fine though, yeah. And this game is going a little bit more favored towards Windsor Park here at this point. Windsor Park showing that just because they lose game one doesn't mean they don't got the stuff. Oh, and a flash burnt by Graves there. A close one by Gragas, almost picked up that CC. Probably wouldn't have led into anything, but it's better safe than sorry to flash away from that.
Yeah, both teams just farming up right now. It looks like Graves is going topside. He's just taking the topside Krugs.
There's a fight actually breaking up bot lane as Aurelia landing those weird stuns. Now Aurelia recently been reworked. She's an older champion, but she's got a newer kit now and a newer look. And her E is quite a weird ability where you can throw to dagger and then throw another one out, and then in between those two daggers it will stun what's ever in between there. So I guess I could see that being almost a supporting ability because it's a long-ranged AoE stun.
Yeah.
See, getting it on the Morgana there, and she does burn her ult, but Morgana can just walk through that without too much trouble with her black shield. And Gragas is here though, getting a nice knockback onto them, but that's not the direction he wants as he gets burned down pretty quickly. Morgana getting the stun on him, but Morgana gets caught out now and she's exhausted. Zaya is looking to just melt her down slowly. Ezreal's not sure who to target. It looks like Morgana barely makes it alive, and Ezreal actually gets the kill on Gragas, and this is looking very bad for Windsor Park as... Actually, Windsor Park did actually pick up 2 kills there, I should say.
They actually came out ahead. It was Dakota that was
looking
a little rough there.
They get a third one there too.
Yeah, they catch out the entire kind of bottom side and jungle for Dakota. And
and a beautiful Azir ult by the mid lane for Windsor Park, and that's a 3rd kill going over to him there. A beautiful play there.
Yeah, that's it's a very nice play there by the Azir, pushing the Swain, who was out of position, back into his entire team.
He barely got him over that wall, but it was perfect. It was right into Ezreal and Morgana, and that is a huge play early on here to try and snowball this lead. Azir with 3 kills at 12 minutes is not what you want to see at all. At least if you're Dakota, that is.
Both teams just kind of chilling for a minute now, taking a couple seconds off from the exciting gameplay.
There has been a couple exciting things to happen. It
looks like Graves is going to start the Rift Herald. He can't solo it himself.
He can potentially if he plays it right. He's got the lifesteal to do it.
That's true. He does have a lifesteal from his early jungle item. He also has a pot, so... It's possible. It's going to take them a while.
Yeah, and they don't really care too much about the risks. They're up a solid amount of kills, 5 kills at this point, a solid almost 5k gold lead. And that's a really nice position if you're Windsor Park right now.
Yeah, the unfortunate part for Dakota, pardon me, is they don't actually know this is happening, so they're not going to be able to trade back.
They're not going to see the Herald being taken.
They're going to see it until now.
Yeah, and that was a crucial part to last game, ending the game. They did actually burn through a lot of turrets and Nexus, or I should say inhibitors. Just with that Herald alone, it can be a very scary, powerful thing. But Cho'Gath, actually, I want to talk about his items real quick. He's got the Knight's Vow. The Knight's Vow being an item that gives you move speed towards a champion, an enemy champion, and then you slow them when you get to them. That's a very good thing for Cho'Gath, as he doesn't really have any gap closers, and you can afford to use that as an early game item because he doesn't really need too much for as far as scaling goes. Too much damage.
He doesn't need kind of damage scaling or even kind of armor or health scaling, just because he gains health from his.
He could use armor and magic resist, but mostly health is what he's gonna get through his kit. It doesn't help, or it doesn't hurt to not pick up that armor once
even
in a while.
to kind of wait a couple seconds, pick it up a little bit later, and. Windsor Park actually picked up the dragon there,
that's
so
an Infernal Dragon going for them. They have even more damage now, which is a very scary thing.
Yeah, they got both the dragon and the Rift Herald, so Dakota missed out on both of those kind of major objectives.
Yeah, and that's two. Oh, and another kill going over to Cho'Gath top lane. He is currently 3-0, as well as Azir, looking to pick up the first turret gold here as well. And this is looking mighty grim for Dakota at this point.
Yeah, the scary part for Dakota right now is Windsor Park has both a tank who's 3-0, as well as a damage dealer who scales very hard.
A tank that does damage too.
Exactly. And the Azir who's a carry, like a hyper carry, getting kills early.
Graves picks up a kill onto Gragas. Gragas a little out of position there. Azir almost dying to Swain. Swain barely not finding the kill, but he might actually survive here as he misses the E onto Graves, and Graves just kind of shoots him in the face at that point.
Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot of places to go there, as there was other champions for Windsor Park in the river as well.
An interesting little fight breaking out bot lane, not finding much. It's Windsor Park. They do push them back though and get some damage on this turret now though.
They're actually just going to... Yeah, they're waiting for their own minions. They're going to clear this minion wave, and then they're going to put some damage down.
Morgana actually
they're going to
getting the
instead.
Raptor cloak early. I'm assuming that's going to turn into the Banner of Command, and we did see some success on that in Game 1, as it made the minions just so damage heavy onto the turrets, and you couldn't really do too much because there's such a long range as well, combined with the Baron minion. So we might see that be a big factor in this game as well.
Yeah, Jax just completed his first item, being the Trinity Force.
Yep,
well, it
good
is
item.
The most expensive item in the game. It is only one item after all, whereas Cho'Gath has...
he's almost got 2 done here, plus his boots.
Plus his full boots, which gives him extra armor.
Yep.
So Cho'Gath has quite a big lead right now.
They did summon Rift Herald here in a weird spot, so I'm not sure what the plan is here. I don't think that Herald's going to be able to do too much against the turret there.
It's going to get one shot on the outer turret.
Easily followed, and it didn't do too much because it didn't have enough health to really damage.
I wonder if that was just a misclick trying to ward
it
the
might have been a misclick. It happens.
You have the Rift Herald.
It happens.
I've done it my fair few times, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, it took a couple of turret shots from the inner turret.
A lot of bot lane focus here, and a beautiful ult again by the Azir, catching out the Irelia, and that's another kill over to Graves. As Graves is actually in the lead for kills on his team now, being 4-1. Azir actually looking to maybe pick up another kill. Oh, but Gragas comes around the corner here. Not too scared of him, though. He's not a very scary opponent, and trying his best to get away. Does actually burn Flash. Azir. Oh, and he gets the kill on Xayah. Looking to try and trade back, but she can't do too much. Azir and Graves being a very scary combination at this point. And don't forget about Cho'Gath. He's there too.
Let's take another look at the end of that fight. You see Azir here. He's chasing down with the rest of his team behind him. He's trying to catch the Gragas and the Swain. He flashes, catches Gragas over the wall. Xayah comes out to try to protect, but
it's too late.
She has to be very careful there. Just overstep a little bit too far and you're going to be dead real fast.
Yep. Ezreal actually opts for the Iceborne Gauntlet to maybe give him a bit more CC survivability. Not that he needs it. His team is pretty far ahead at this point. And Azir, looking to make an aggressive play, actually spawns his passive turret onto the turret there and doesn't actually pick up the kill onto Swain, but he does scare him off. He did take quite a bit of damage himself, though.
still going to force Swain to play a little bit slow for the next little bit.
He doesn't have much to do against that turret, but the turret does fall relatively quickly as it does lose health over time, and Swain is slowly whittling away at it. It's kind of just an annoyance, but...
It just kind of slows his progress, but it won't do too much at the end of the day.
Azir does pick up a blue buff. Bot lane,
Aurelia
did ult.
Going on.
Nothing really too much out of that, though. Greg is looking to make a play here, but he doesn't actually find anything as Morgana and Ezreal are very safe. Jax is here, though, and a beautiful play by Xayah there, getting both members of bot lane damage-wise ulted. They weren't snared, though, and they pick up the kill onto Morgana. Ezreal going a bit more aggro back. He gets the kill onto Xayah, and he might look to try and... Oh, he actually snipes the other kill onto Jax, and he's looking to pick up a third one here, maybe.
He was trying to also use his ult to put some damage down onto Aurelia.
He did actually, yeah, he did Aurelia too.
Yeah, didn't do a whole lot.
Beautiful ult by him there. He actually predicted where she would go.
Yeah, nice ult.
Yep,
a little style play right there.
He was Jax, not Aurelia. And at this point, with 3 kills on the board for Dakota, there's not a whole lot you can do. You just kind of have to survive, and it's hard to do that when every side of the map is being pressured heavily.
Yeah, kills are currently 15-3, 13k gold lead for Windsor Park here.
has 3.5k health.
Yeah, that's a lot of health. You're going to have to put a lot of damage into him before he falls.
He's going to just kind of walk through this turret. He doesn't really care. He's going to dance in it too. Why not?
Do one quick little dance, you know, little taunt.
Oh, and Jax face checks that bush. Greg is maybe in a bit of a too deep spot. It doesn't look like he's in too much trouble, though, as both teams decide to back off. Cho'Gath and Azir are both in the deep fray of the fight, and Azir does go down. Cho'Gath picking up a kill onto Irelia, getting a double knockoff. He does finally go down, though, but it looks like the rest of Windsor Park is going to join up. Greg is maybe falling to the red buff, so close, and Swain looking to maybe pick up 2 kills there, but he does get rooted. And the fight still goes on as Graves dives Xayah, and he looks like he's going to fall to Swain here too. A brutal bloodbath of a fight there, and it's not over yet as Morgana just snares her. Swain one last time.
Let's take another look at that last fight, Cho'Gath and Azir. So they go in a little bit behind the team for Dakota, and they get kind of caught out of place. Azir misses the ult, trying to kind of get away. And he goes down quickly. Smart move by Dakota to focus the Azir down first before the Cho'Gath, as you don't want Azir to get the time to do damage to your team.
Yeah.
After that, they kind of extend maybe a little bit too far out.
It looks like we're already getting back into the fighting here as Cho'Gath picks up a kill onto Jax here, and they're looking to get some more here as Cho'Gath is just a scary monster running at the Dakota lines right now. They are going to surprise them a little bit. Cho'Gath actually gets the double kill onto Swain here. He's just a monster. He's actually, Ezreal is going to pick up that kill, and another beautiful ult by Azir to throw Gragas back into his team, and at this point it's just easy pickings for Dakota.
Yeah, let's take another look at this fight as well. Lots of stuff going down for the replays right now.
Oh, and a beautiful play, actually.
So they catch each other in the river, and Jax is a little bit too far forward, and he gets caught out. And now it's just about chasing them down, as Windsor Park wants as many fights as possible, being this far ahead. They just want to kind of push as much as they can.
And it looked like it looked like it could have gone either way, but
nice ult by Azir to push the Gragas back over into his
these Azir and Cho'Gath are just too big.
Yeah.
Cho'Gath literally being too big. Like, look at him.
Yeah, he's huge. Yeah, the more well, he gets bigger off of his health, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's stacking.
With 3.5k health, he takes up the entire lane.
Stacks. And
Windsor Park takes over that
they're
second
wanting
Infernal
to close this game really soon now because they've got 2 Infernals. They've got plenty of damage. They don't really need to wait for Baron. They could do it. It wouldn't hurt, but they can really just muscle their way into there at this point with the Azir turrets and the fact that they've got... Actually, Jack's going a little aggressive here. Interesting play. Does actually almost get the stun, forcing the flash out of Azir, but Azir actually gets the kill with...
Yeah, he spawned his passive spawned a turret in the inner middle lane.
That's right.
And it killed the Xayah, so maybe a little bit of an oversight there from Xayah.
That happens. It looks like they're going to do the Baron now. Not too much to worry about there.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to do Baron. They decided that...
They've got the Cho'Gath Smite, Cho'Gath Alt plus Gragas, or Grave Smite combination. Yeah, so this, Cho'Gath does actually eat it.
That Baron died relatively quickly. But when you're this far ahead, it's you do a lot of damage, so...
Graves. We fight Gragas here. Gragas. Some nice damage down. And it looks like Aurelia's going to help out Gragas here. And he does actually go back into Aurelia's ult, meaning he couldn't auto-attack for a second there, but it looks like he's going to be okay. Almost picking up the kill on the Graves. Or
Gragas there.
Let's mix them up.
Too many G's, man.
Yeah. GRs too. Like, they're both Gragas, Graves sound the same anyway. GRA, I should say. Even one more letter.
Too much growling.
They have the same Banner of Command and Baron minion combination. And this fight actually looks a bit more on Dakota's side, as Dakota just get hit by a bit of damage there.
Dakota takes a smart fight there. They kind of have the
so huge
quote-unquote upper ground.
And another kill going over to Azir there on the Jax.
Okay. Again, nice play by Azir.
Looks like the game got paused again.
Another quick pause. Not really sure why.
Something might have happened, but
I think maybe a little bit of keyboard spam there, getting a little frustrated or missed the keys that he's looking for, paused it.
But yeah, so far we're not really seeing too much of a fight out of Dakota right now. Windsor Park just sort of took over this game. They have like a 20k gold lead right now.
Yep.
Literally 24 kills to 6 kills. There's not a whole lot.
Turrets are 7-0.
And we're back in the game.
This is going to be very hard for Dakota to kind of even turn this into a game, never mind give himself a fair chance to win here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it turned out this way for them, as they couldn't really do too much about the Cho'Gath and the Azir.
Yeah,
but it all comes back to that early game in the drafting. I'd say the Swain actually didn't turn out to be a problem as much as I thought it would, and that's another beautiful ult by Azir. I also combined his name and ult together. That was interesting.
After the first 2 games from the Swain, you would expect him to kind of have an effect.
But I guess Azir is the proper counter to that, and it looks like they do actually pick up this second win, meaning Windsor Park.
This series 2-1.
Windsor Park is taking this series 2-1 now. They're the champions now this year. Windsor Park, GG. Also Dakota, GG. They did well. They won the first game thinking, you'd think that the one pulling the trigger faster would be the one to be on top, but Windsor Park took their time. They methodically thought it out, and they came out on top. They really pulled the trigger harder.
So it looks like when Windsor Parks decides to quote-unquote take the game seriously, they actually do pretty well. First game they pick a little,
not too sure.
A little troll pick.
Not too sure about Dakota's drafting. That might have been a bit of a downside. The Aurelia support is kind of an interesting one, but great plays all in all by both teams. They really showed how much versatility League of Legends has when it comes to champions picked.
Yeah, it was interesting, all 3 games with picks going back and forth, bans really
we saw different styles every time.
Turns out Aurelia support,
not as great as it might seem.
I'd like to have everybody gather in the dining room right away prior to packing up and heading out so we can do the awards presentations. So if everybody would just gather in the dining room, we'll do the presentations for about 5 minutes and then let everybody pack up and head home. So do that right away.
The voice of Big C there.
Everyone's real excited to present this award to Windsor Park for winning this tournament.
Windsor Park, they showed
an announcement for that one.
They showed that they have the stuff, and they definitely deserve this win here.
Yeah, well, next time we're gonna see if they can keep it going, as these tournaments happen semi-regularly. So can they continue to reign supreme?
That might be the question there, as Windsor Park being the first champions in the LRSD League of Legends Championship Series. But with the first championship comes a legacy that you've got to uphold, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to have to keep it going and really show that they can, that they're as good of a team as they say they are, and as they've shown so far.
Absolutely.
They might also have to look into maybe picking some other things now, They've shown the Yasuo. They've shown the Swain. They've shown the Cho'Gath, the Azir. Teams might have to look into start banning these things.
Yeah, and it's hard to ban stuff when you've got so much versatility under your belt. But congratulations to both teams for playing a great game, and that's it for our broadcast today. Congratulations again to Windsor Park. A reminder, we are showing the rewards ceremony, but we had a great time here at the desk, Braden. I combined your name and desk there.
Yes.
That was weird.
Yeah, I know you did. That's interesting choice of words there, Logan. So, we're going to send it down to the awards. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I don't know how much room you got, but I'm going to speak to people this way, just so you know. Gentlemen, again, one more time, thank you very much for all being here. One thing's for sure that I've seen today, more than I often see in other locations, is some great sportsmanship amongst all of you. Everybody's got along really well, supporting each other, regardless of what school and what team you're in. So I just want to tell you that I appreciate everything that's done. So thank you for doing that today. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Mr. Cameron. I'm the principal of the ATC. We've been trying to get this going for the better part of a year now, so to get to this point and see that this is happening has been really good news for us, and also the fact that we've been able to give you guys another venue to compete in, and so I hope you appreciate and have fun being part of it, so thank you. I want to congratulate all of the teams just for being here and competing and get to this point. Of course, I want to start off by awarding the third place ribbons to my team, the ATC Scuttle Squad. I did not come up with that name, but I do like it.
Thank you. Marshall.
Okay. I want to call up the Dakota 1 team who came in second place. Dakota 1. Go guys. Congratulations, thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Thanks for competing, guys. Congratulations. Thanks for competing, guys. Congratulations. Thanks for competing, guys. Well done. And there you go, sir. Thanks for competing. Okay. Congratulations, Dakota 1. And congratulations to Dakota 1 again and Windsor Park for one heck of a championship match, guys. Went back and forth, and I know it may have seemed lopsided, and I don't know this game really well, but it was really fun to watch. And so thanks for making sure it went to 3 games and really show that it could have gone either way. So thank you. So I'm going to call up Windsor Park, the 2018 Riel School Division League of Champions winners. The captain of the team first, please. Congratulations on back to you. So there we go. Okay. There we go. Congratulations. Congratulations, Windsor Park.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, I need the name of Windsor Park. Okay, so I want to thank the University of Manitoba eSports group who've been here today supporting us and what we're doing today. And they were here, I know they gave us some product, they gave us some cups, and there's still a few back there which you're welcome to take. They're here for you to take with you, so please feel free to do so. They've also said I have 25 of these, so 25 players. Each one of you can take one of these as you head out. If we run out of them, we'll make sure that we get some to you later. So one team at a time as you're coming through, please grab one of these. Thank you very much one more time, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I ask one last time, please make sure your rooms are cleaned up before you go. You packed up, you've got everything, because if not, you don't get it back till Monday. Have a great weekend, guys, and thank you.
Bro, guys, hold it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Take a picture. Yeah,
Dakota team.
Ben.
Dakota won.